All right. Yeah, okay. Now that's... let me check this. Hello, everybody. Hey, Danny, how you doing? I have a doggo today. I'm taking care of a family friend's dog, so... I knew that you were here yesterday, Queen. What site are you on? I'm just curious. I didn't notice. I saw you in the chat. I just didn't know what site you're on. There's I gotta love it when TikTok Live Studio isn't accurately showing the number of viewers too. Yeah, that's great. Sometimes it's like, oh yeah, you have 5, now it's 3, and then you have 0. It's like, yeah, that's not right. I don't think that there's 0 viewers. Where are all my friends too? If you disagree, feel free to request up. Yeah, why don't you support it? And what would it take for you to support it? Hey, Solid.
I can't send you a heart me today because apparently I must have sent one just past midnight yesterday.
Oh yeah, your location. Yeah, I was later. I was live later, so that is possible.
You know my memory is ass, so like, what do you expect? I don't know if I did or not, but I'm guessing I did based off of the fact that it won't let me send one. Wait, what if I just change my phone's location to Australia real quick? Just to send it and then put it back.
Well, then if I go live tomorrow, then what are you gonna do? No. Hey, buddy. You sleeping?
Well, then I'd have already sent it for that day.
Yeah, I have a doggo sleeping. I have Mr. Danners back.
Oh, the puppy dog.
Hi, no Phil, bro.
Hello?
Could I get your age and pronouns, please?
Yeah, 19, born in 2006, he, him.
Awesome. Do you disagree with the prompt?
Well, I want to ask a question to clarify. Are you talking about, gender affirming care for minors?
For everyone. That is seen for, yeah, it would include adolescents. I wouldn't say minors. Minors would be like, I tend to use the word adolescent because that more accurately describes the group of individuals we're going to be talking about.
So, like, people under 18?
Yeah, that is what
Okay,
adolescents are.
Would I be able to present an argument why I don't think people, minors should be given access to gender affirming care, and not an argument specifically for adults? Like, adults are fine, I don't care about that. Would I be able to engage in that?
Yeah.
I mean, sure, but I have a question for you first.
Can I just present the argument and then not get distracted
I
by
was going to
anything
say,
else?
what do you think gender affirming care is?
Well, I would classify it like 3 things, probably puberty blocker.
Hey, you need to drop him immediately.
Oh, why is that?
Okay.
Why? What? Why?
Drop him. I'll explain after. Drop him.
Honestly,
dropped him.
yeah.
Wait, did he
Yeah.
just have did his profile picture just have a...
Yeah.
That wasn't there when he first joined. His profile
Oh.
picture changed mid.
Yeah, I just want to point out, I'm not even here to talk. I was going to say hi in the comments, but then I saw that. Yeah, you needed to drop him. He literally had a character in the SS uniform
Oh, I see. Yeah.
in his profile picture.
Yeah, but if you click on his profile picture, it comes up with a different one. That's the one that I saw
The exact same.
originally. It switched when he was on panel.
Yeah, just wanted to point that out because his goal was to get your live taken down. So
Should we mute
just
him
say
then
that.
too?
Also, hi, you guys are cool. I was
Hi.
like, oh wait, am I a mod here? No, I'm not. So I couldn't drop him from the comments. But
Okay, cool.
wait,
Thank
oh,
you.
I am.
Yeah, you are.
Wait, how?
Magic.
Yeah,
But yeah,
he can't be saying anything anyways. He has done. I've done this thing called blocking them.
yeah, I wanted to try to get him down before he had a chance to say anything. I didn't want to say why you should drop him because if I did, he's probably going to see stream slurs before he got the chance to. So I want to explain after. But yeah, you kids have fun. You're awesome. I'm probably gonna watch your live in the comments for a little bit because I'm kind of I'm eating, but yeah, stay cool.
Wow, you're abandoning us.
I'm
Okay.
gonna be in the comments. I just want to eat.
Yeah, I know. I'm taking the piss. Go enjoy your fucking food.
Yeah, you drink that piss, Snake. Yeah, you drink all that piss.
No fair. That's just mean. Why you bully me like this? Why you bully me? I hate the fact that you're the first person to actually say that joke as well. The amount of times I've used that expression and had no one say it to me despite thinking of that comeback myself. No one has ever said that.
Also, Cell City is right. At least currently, Medicaid does not cover gender affirming care of any kind. So if you need it, you can technically still access it in some states where it's legal, but you would have to pay for it separate from Medicaid or with other insurance.
It's background. Original. There you go. Hey, look who it is. Danny. Hey, buddy.
A blurry Danny.
The puppy dog.
Hey, buddy.
Hi, Danny boy.
Hey.
Oh, Go Scratches. Yeah.
Oh my god, it's centrist.
Here we go.
I see this centrist everywhere, and you know, he always seems to have some point of disagreement with anything as well as a point of agreement with everything, as long as it's not to an extreme, which kind of makes sense with the name centrist. But yeah, I once had a prompt up that he agreed with all three of them, and I take pride in that because I've never seen him agree with all three prompts on anyone else's except mine. And so I'm proud of that.
Nice. Actually, the other day when we were live, saw them in the comments, and I was like, "That's an interesting name to choose for here." So I would want to see how their views would line up with
They're
like gender
always
affirming care.
very moderate in almost every way, shape, and form possible. If it's not an extreme thing that is like objectively wrong,
I
they
hear
can
that,
almost reason with anything.
and I'm also like curious because like people will view gender affirming care as extreme when it's not, if that makes sense. So it really just depends on the person and how they're applying that and interpreting that.
Yeah, true, but not me.
One second, I'm gonna go wash my
cleaning
hands because I don't want greasy dog hair on my keyboard.
Okay, well, we do have someone requesting as well, so as long as they're still there, we'll have someone to talk to.
I
That
have
is
someone requesting Yippee.
Come over here.
No.
I also got a new computer today.
Of course, because you needed a 17th.
No, it's actually not mine. It's the people who own Danny. I'm trying to get data off of it. Yeah, but yeah, I figured I'd make a joke out of it.
You have now.
I'll just do the ones within hand reach. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6.
Yeah, can you send me
7.
one?
Hi, guest. Can I get your age and pronouns, please?
I like how you just avoided that.
I
name
identify
because
as
you read it.
20 and he/him.
Can I get a name that we can call you? It doesn't have to be like your actual name.
I'm
but-
6'7".
Oh my god.
I knew you was
can
gonna
I get
say that,
any
that's
other
why I was
names than that?
Lord.
Sorry, all I heard is I identify as 21.
Yeah, that was not something you identify as.
How old
I
are you
identify
actually?
as 21
I
years
do?
old.
You saying I can't?
You
You just are. It's not an identity.
Yeah, this isn't part of your
Yeah, I'm
personality.
20. I'm 20.
What year were you born in?
What?
What year were you born in?
2006.
Is that?
Oh, I don't know. I was born in 2006 and I just turned 18, but I guess. I mean, I
Yeah,
just
I identify as 20, mate.
I forget
Well,
that.
What month were you born in?
Well, 2006, fine. They're over the age of 18
Month.
at least.
What was that? Can I get that month?
March.
It's not March yet.
So what?
So you wouldn't be 20.
I identify as 20.
Well, how many
What's your
times has your
actual-
body gone around the
What's your
sun?
actual fucking-
How would I know?
Oh my god. Okay, honestly, I would just kick personally
Yeah,
because I don't know that age and I don't want us to get banned for having somebody up here who's too young to be up here. He was at least lying about his age because if he was born in March of 2006, he wouldn't be 20 yet.
Hi, Amy.
Hello. If I'm quiet a lot of the stream, I'm gonna try more to get involved. The reason I'm so quiet whenever I come on panel is because I try to wait for everybody to finish talking because I have a very bad interruption problem. Because I'll talk and then someone just starts speaking and I'm like, oh, I'm interrupting. But I'm also, right now I'm drawing, so I'll be drawing while I discuss.
Hi, Lou.
That's cool. Oh, thanks for the little finger heart. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah. It's always good to have you up here, and I also like never know, or like I'll start speaking at the same time as somebody else, or I don't know if they're finished or not, or I think I'm gonna lose a thought. So like, still knows people who've seen me live consistently know that that's something I'm working on too. So it's a process. We're all learning. I do think I've gotten better at it though than when I started.
Hey, Gooey, could I have your age and pronouns, please?
Yeah, I'm 21, him.
Do you disagree with prompt?
Do I disagree? I support transgender people and gender-affirming care. I mean, you can support it. I don't know why I should support it, but it's not like I disagree with you supporting it. You can do whatever you want.
Do you think that trans people should be affirmed in their gender?
I don't know what that means.
Okay, are we gonna have to go from like grade school level this? Do we have
I don't
to
know
treat
what
you
grade school level means. We think we're having an informal dialectic, so you can attempt to explicate on your point without like the pejoratives. You just focus and tell me what you mean by that.
Yeah, I mean, if you're just gonna be bad faith Pittville, bro,
Well, I'm not gonna. When I have to prove I'm bad faith, it's actually ironic. Yeah, if you keep interrupting, that's you being bad faith. Actually, that's funny. So there's a blunder there. But if you're just gonna accuse me of being bad faith without actually verifying it, that's ironically you being bad faith there. So all you have to do is explain what you mean by affirming their gender, apart from crashing out. Like what the fuck?
I'm not crashing out. I
Yeah,
know
you
when
are.
I'm crashing
You're not
out.
explaining it, buddy. Okay, cool. So I guess I don't have to affirm whatever the hell that means. Trans women aren't women. I could just say that too. But again, I'm just trying to get what you mean by affirming their gender. So you can just explain that.
Yeah, so individuals. Do I have to explain what
There
an
you go.
individual is to you?
Yeah, no, you can just explain by affirming their gender means, like I asked, buddy. There you go. Keep
Oh,
going.
okay. Well, I'm not sure just how bad faith you are, so I gotta make sure that
Yeah, you can't prove I'm bad faith in general. So that's the whole issue, buddy. Just explain your point. Lock in.
Well, did you understand what affirming
but we can
means?
prove
To
it.
support?
So like, what do you mean by affirming their gender?
So,
You
so
just go
and then
forward
do you know
explain
what
that.
gender is? Like the socially constructed ways that we express ourselves along the continuum of
Well, actually, that's
masculine, feminine, or both, or
that's an
neither?
assertion there. So I really don't accept the theoretical framework that is social constructionism. Can you verify that for me before we move forward?
Yeah, without any sort of society, there'd be no such thing as gender.
I did that. I'll explain. I knew that Gooey was no good when he requested, but I couldn't remember from what. So I asked in the Discord. People haven't responded there yet. But as soon as I saw a comment, I'm like, I genuinely believe that. I think I had him like reported and blocked at one point. And I don't report for anything that isn't like pretty major. And Mama Bear says she has a clip on her page as well. Of what is being referred to here. So yeah, I just can't have people like that platformed.
Yeah, fair enough.
If you want to let him back up, you can, but I don't know if you want like basically a pedophile up here, P3
Oh my
PDF
god, really?
file. Sorry, I'm bad. Sometimes I'm really bad about remembering that I'm on TikTok. But yeah, that's the person that we're dealing with. You can block him if you want, because he is saying that I'm running and all that shit. But I'm just not cool letting those people up here.
Yeah, so what the reason why you were dropped was because of somebody saying that they have a clip of you trying to justify being attracted to animated children. That's what I would call fucked up, bro. Yeah, you can get the fuck out of here if you're gonna do that. That is, I don't care if that's like bad faith for me not to want to debate you. I'm simply not going to, because I have this thing called morality, and like I'm just not gonna talk to you and have like a reasonable discussion with you if that's the case.
Quote unquote can't prove his bad faith, but yeah, the disingenuity coming from him literally proves that.
Thanks, Lou. Thanks everybody for all the gifts too.
You guys are awesome. I'm on the wrong layer. Oh,
Can I block him?
Nah, you know what? Nah, don't block him. I've got an idea. I want to see how long.
Oh, and he's.
Oh.
You see what I'm doing? I'm gonna see how long this goes on for.
Is it the 5-second mute situation?
Maybe.
Yeah, so also cartoons aren't human, so me saying that wouldn't prove that I'm a P3 lol. So you are just backing that up. Yeah.
Wait, what? That's what you said? I didn't even read the message, I just instantly muted it.
Yeah, I can see that they don't get removed from my device, on my desktop at least.
Send me a screenshot.
Yeah, let me pull it up.
Please.
Send me a screenshot of it, because I gather screenshots of people who say the most stupid shit in lives.
Can I let Mama Bear up here? Who
Yeah.
has the clip of him? Okay, I just wanted to double check before I did. Thank you for keeping us informed. Hello.
Hi, friend.
Hi guys. First of all, W for dropping him. I am an op. I didn't come here for a debate though. I love that two sides can come together and agree that that is fucking weird. There is a clip on my page. It's a little further down, but his, if you know what lolly is, you know.
He's a lolicon?
Yeah,
Ew.
I don't know if he is personally, but he has debates trying to get people to prove that it's not like P3DO behavior, and he says that it's not actual P3DO because they're not actually humans, and that's his justification for it. And everybody knows when a cartoon is
still
portraying
children.
humans,
Yeah, exactly. That's still
they're
PDF
still
behavior.
obviously children. So I will run that motherfucker off this app every time I see him. Thank you for dropping him. Anybody that is curious, there is a clip on my page. Please, please, please call that motherfucker out every time you see him.
Yeah,
I will jump on that wagon, and we can totally even have a debate if you feel like it, but not about that. Obviously, we fully agree on that one.
I'm gonna send a follow. Maybe I'll come back because you guys seem pretty chill. I don't have time for one right now, but I just wanted to come up and call that out. And thank you for dropping him. You guys have a good day.
Honestly,
You too.
I feel like that's the type of person to try to justify what the Grok AI is doing on Twitter and stuff.
I still can't believe that that's happening, because dude. And then I'm pretty sure nothing's been done about it so far, hasn't it? I don't know. I
Like his lives, you mean, or
no, the Grok thing. I stopped using Twitter because every time I go on Twitter, I see stuff that makes me upset. So I just deleted it.
yeah, I would too at a certain point. But yeah, if Elon Musk is still controlling things, then they probably have not done anything about it. God.
Thing is, this gotcha won't come up, and he keeps saying he can debate and that, but that I can't debate without the mute button. I very rarely mute people. The only time I do is when you're consistently yelling or you break TOS. If you're going to constantly talk over someone, then it's not really a point in having a debate. And if you're breaking TikTok terms of service, we have to.
And if you're sorry.
That's fine.
At least for me as well, I will interrupt for misinformation because I believe that's in TOS still.
Yes, it
so, like, people get bothered by that one the most. And I can get a little picky about it more than others. But there's a creator, her name is Lainey, and I cannot remember. It's like Definish Trans or something is her handle on here. But she has posted some videos lately educating people who don't want to be bigots about some of the way they may be speaking about trans people and how it can be dehumanizing and such. She's done 3 videos talking about this now. And that's exactly why I'm like, if you just call us trans, like, which was in one of her videos actually, and not trans people, like a trans, like I'm gonna say that's misinformation and correct you. Even if you think it's a small thing, like, it's really important that we don't dehumanize people along the way. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this person in the comments is saying that I'd have a disadvantage anyway, even if I didn't mute them. And it's like, what disadvantage, motherfucker? I'm pretty capable of holding my own.
I know enough about you to know that's true.
I don't know why that people think it's so hard just to say people at the end. It's like, it's literally the same thing as if you went up to someone who is African American and said, oh, look, that is a black. Like, that's not No, it's the same thing, and I feel like
Lainey said that in her video. Yep.
Yeah, I didn't. No, I didn't see the video, but
I know, but they're great points, and you guys
Yeah.
made the same exact parallel. So yeah, that's good that you're saying that.
Kitty.
I've got 3 of them. I've got 3.
Oh my god. I just have a doggo.
I have a doggo too.
Yeah, they all decided that they wanted to lay on me instead of on their bed.
Hopefully, big screen was okay. I didn't ask. I just wanted to see Kitty's big. Oh,
Kitty.
This one's
Oh,
my
yeah,
baby.
Speaking of
Lives
kitties,
right
one
here.
speaking of kitties, now one of my cats is part bald.
Sorry.
I hate
myself. Sorry.
this thing I'm doing right now.
Why?
I'm drawing on Ibis Paint on the computer, and for some reason, in the demo version, the free version, you can only draw for an hour before they force you out. And I didn't get to finish this drawing yesterday because it was the stupid timer. Fuck it.
That sucks.
Also, hi Alexis, can I get your age and pronouns, please?
Yeah, I'm 31. She, her.
Do you disagree with the prompt?
Yes, I don't remember what it said.
It's for transgender individuals and gender
Yeah, it's
affirming care.
gender affirming care. That's what it is. Yeah. Are you talking about? So, do you mean gender affirming care at all ages, or are you just talking about 18 plus?
So obviously within adults that's fine. For adolescents, I think it's fine within most situations as well. There's gonna be like if we're not sure that somebody's not having like you'd have to have like a serious you'd have to bring up like a very serious issue for like for a reason to doubt like children being, you know, essentially telling the truth on this. 1 second.
So you'd have to bring up serious doubt.
Yeah, so like you would have to have like serious doubt for somebody to like before I would say, hey, this person's not being like truthful about themselves and they're just doing it for other reasons. But that doesn't seem like that's the case. Like 99.9%.
You're saying that for young people who identify as trans, right? Or okay, so basically,
I would say who insistently, consistently, and persistently identify as trans.
Yeah.
Do you know how long it? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I would also say that especially within minors, I think that it's yeah, I would say that if it's going to be something like an elective surgery, I don't think that's as necessary. I think it's especially when it's within individuals who have like a diagnosis of gender dysphoria.
Sure. Do we know how long it takes? So gender affirming care, I know it doesn't have to be surgery or blockers or anything like that, but more than likely after receiving a diagnosis of gender dysphoria, how often and how typically do you guys understand it to be that the gender affirming care begins and how far it progresses?
I haven't looked up exact stats on that. It's one of those things that I think it really depends on the person that we're talking about. Because like not all individuals have things like such as gender dysphoria. Not everybody wants, like some people can be trans and they feel comfortable without having any sort of surgery or any sort of medical intervention done.
And I think you're asking specifically about those with like a gender dysphoria diagnosis. And I think that we need to bear in mind, and you already mentioned that you know that gender affirming care isn't just the medical aspect of gender affirming care. Someone can be diagnosed with gender dysphoria and then just pursue therapy, get a haircut, and change the clothes they wear. And that might be all of the support and affirmation that they need to relieve their gender dysphoria. Whereas others, it will go through years of therapy, and then you might see an endocrinologist at some point, and then you might see a surgeon at some point. It just depends. Like the host was saying, it's very individualized, from very like more minor levels of like clothes, hair, name, pronouns, all the way up through some medical interventions and surgeries.
Okay. So it's interesting that you guys mentioned the. So you said that not every person who's trans has gender dysphoria?
Yeah, that would
Correct.
be the DSM-5 and ICD-11 would both agree with me on that too.
That not every person who identifies themselves as trans has gender dysphoria?
Correct. Gender
Where does
dysphoria
it agree
is...
with you?
What was that?
where in the DSM-5 does it agree with you on that aspect?
Yeah, and like the textual basis of it, like the textual parts where it talks about like the reasoning behind and like the methodology and studies and stuff, and why they've like essentially done what they've done, why they've categorized things as they have. What it also, like, whenever you look at the definition or the actual like criteria to be diagnosed with gender dysphoria, it requires you to have this level of discomfort that causes you know significant impairment on you in your daily life. So it's clear that being trans in itself, that because just simply that there are trans people who don't go through medical intervention and feel happy in their body, this shows that this doesn't, you know, you can be trans and not have, you know, some sort of discomfort in day-to-day life.
Okay, question, and this might be offensive, and I don't mean offense by it, but if someone does not have gender dysphoria, and they consider themselves trans, and all that the only gender affirming care that they feel as though is necessary for them is simply a style change, like let's say a clothing change, a haircut change. Oh, sorry, my cat just jumped on my computer. A haircut change. So if that's the case, then why consider yourself trans? Because I mean, at the end of the day, if that's the case, why doesn't anybody consider a butch lesbian trans?
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Well, because
Yeah.
they
Is it
identify
just
as
more of a
women,
personal
other than
preference?
they identify as women and not trans. I mean, there's a diff because there's. Sorry, I'm not good at talking.
Do you want me to? It's okay if you want to give it a go as well.
I wanted to say something about it as someone who is lesbian and has been around a lot of butch and like all different kinds of people, and so I wanted to kind of clear up that the reason why butch lesbians don't identify as trans is because they still have connection and still identify with the gender they were born with. Well, the sex, at least. They identify as female still, despite being masculine. As for someone who is a trans male, identifies as male and not female, basically. Sorry, if that was a really simple explanation, I apologize.
You were starting off.
Simple is better.
Yeah, and you were starting off saying what I was going to say, but in a different way, if that makes sense. So I'll just elaborate that the definition of transgender means that your sex and your gender do not align. So if somebody, let's say somebody who's AFAB, identifies as non-binary, because female and non-binary.
I'm so sorry. What's AFAB?
It's okay. Assigned female at birth. So yeah, AFAB, AMAB, that's what I mean. Thanks for stopping me and letting me know what I needed to explain. So let's say there's somebody who's AFAB who identifies as non-binary, and they may not even like have any physical gender dysphoria, maybe even with their style. There are a bunch of AFAB feminine non-binary people that exist, but just because they may present to the world as women, they're still transgender because they are non-binary and they are not they're not like intersex or weren't raised as non-binary. So if you weren't raised that way, like that's where the cisgender definition comes into play of just having a sex and gender identity and experience growing up that align and rather than don't align.
It's like how, yeah.
So butch lesbians, to bring that into this, they still identify as women, even though they might be masculine presenting, but they're AFAB women, therefore they're cisgender.
It's just your personal identification marker that you assign to yourself then.
If that personal identification is not aligned with your sex, then yes.
So
yeah.
Okay, got it. So because because I debate this topic regularly. I'm someone to where you guys might not like my takes, and that's fine. But at the end of the day, I do genuinely try to understand, and so because I don't ever want to be ignorant in the fact or in arguments and even just like in trying to understand, because I do try to genuinely understand. So why not when because this is what I have an issue with, and partially an issue with, is the fact that if you are assigned male or female at birth and you as a male happen to like more feminine things, right? Just because you like more feminine things, let's say you only like feminine things, I don't think just liking something feminine, because society deems whatever it is quote unquote feminine, right? So just because you like more feminine things, whether it's doing your hair, doing your makeup, whatever, that does not suddenly make you a woman. You know what I mean? And same
We
vice
agree,
versa. Just
actually.
because I'm a welder and just because I hang drywall and I can do certain things like that and I can do construction does not mean like I am a man. I'm still, at the end of the day, very much so a woman who likes masculine things.
Yeah, we actually agree on that. So it isn't the presentation that makes somebody that way. So even we were just talking about butch lesbians, which you had brought up as well. That presentation doesn't make them trans men or trans non-binary or whatever, unless their gender identity is also of that. It really is down to that identity piece, which we can talk about. I mean, like sexually dimorphic brains and stuff like that as well. But yeah, it really comes down to how we identify.
Personally, just your
Why we
personal-
identify that way is a whole nother story. But yeah, it is just how I mean, gender is a biopsychosocial construct. So the bio part is what I was saying, was kind of that explanation of why we think that way, and how our neurology is set up. The psycho part is the psychology of gender, which is developed in the brain between the ages of 3 and 7, and it depends on the environment that you're raised in and the types of people that you're exposed to and how they present themselves and all of that. And then you also have the social aspect, which is this social concept that is gender kind of being implemented within society. We have men and women's bathrooms. We do ascribe stereotypes to men and women because society tries to put those things onto us. So that's the social aspect.
You guys are upholding what society is trying to prescribe onto you as man, as male and or man and woman. I mean, ultimately, I feel like this is the utmost upholding of the man and woman dynamic that society has set forth, is it not?
So if somebody is non-binary, for example, and they only use they them pronouns because they don't want to feel pushed into those boxes, and she her pronouns and he him pronouns make that person feel pushed into those boxes. So how is that trans person being non-binary and being outside of these boxes, how is that upholding this social construct?
Sure. So, but for me, I wasn't specific. So I was asking you specifically about the community for which are you a part of the community?
I am a part of the LGBTQ plus community. Yes.
I think everyone here except for Stoat is.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about Solid.
So,
But
Well-
so I'm only asking. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm just asking because at the end of the day, so non-binary people, sure, fine, but I mean that's something that I still am trying to wrap my head around. But I'm talking about if we're trying to reject the societal standard of man, woman, which is based on male, female, to which, I mean, like the color pink, it has no association with a woman or a man. I mean, realistically, it's just because that's what society has deemed more feminine, and blue is deemed more masculine, just because that's what we've always known it to be, right? But if
Not
you
necessarily,
guys,
because I was going to say, just for misinformation there, that's not necessarily true, because originally back in England to the 1700s and later, pink was originally assigned with boys and blue with girls.
so precisely what I stated. So once again, so I'm stating this because see, the fact of the matter is that it can change because, like I said, because society has associated pink with female or with women and blue with masculine or males or men, whatever. Sorry. Either way, that doesn't mean that it is inherently tied to woman or man because of the fact that it's just always seemed that way to us in our lifetime. Because just like how you said, pink could have been assigned to young boys at birth before. That is because that was societally what was typically correlated with that gender, correct?
At the time and in that place,
Fantastic.
yes.
So we agree. So my point here, the point
With
that I
that
was trying to
one
make
thing.
is that so just because society deems something feminine or masculine, it doesn't necessarily mean that it is, right? Me being a welder, that doesn't necessarily make me masculine. It's perceived more as a masculine career trade, but to me, it's my job, And so my whole point here is that by giving into this whole structure of society and gender roles, I feel like the concept of trans upholds them to the utmost. Do you guys agree, or do you guys maybe see why I might think that?
I see a little bit.
I don't, because you're saying that and this is me being curious, asking my own questions,
Yeah.
because I do want to understand what you're saying. I first of all, are you speaking about just like binary trans people or also non-binary trans people?
No, the non-binary one's hard for me to wrap my head around. Not because not because I'm trying to be disrespectful. It's very difficult for me because like trans woman, trans man, like that I can understand, but non-binary is very difficult. It's very
So when you're saying this, you're not speaking about them?
No, I'm not. I don't like speaking on things that I don't fully grasp or understand.
Okay.
So that's why I'm not trying to exclude them, but I just don't grasp it. So I'm just prescribing this to trans woman, trans man.
Okay, binary trans people. Yeah, that makes more sense to me because again, like non-binary people are really breaking away from what society is currently putting on them. At least in America, there are other societies where 3 or more genders is a natural part of their current society, so they wouldn't necessarily be considered trans. They would just be considered this other socially acceptable gender. So it really depends on the like place and stuff too. But if you're talking just about binary people and you're saying, well, here's the thing that I think could help us get back on the same page, because we know that it's not just presentation. So what if we're talking about a trans woman who is still masculine in their expression, or a trans man who is still feminine in his expression? Do you see how that can play the same way with trans people as it does with cis people?
Do you mean their appearance, or do you mean like in their activities? Just want to make sure.
Either or, both. It would apply to kind of both.
So to which I'm going to reiterate my stance and my question. Are we not upholding these gender stereotypes and roles by identifying with certain things with masculine, feminine? So because I'm a welder, does that suddenly, like, that's the thing, is who said that welding has to be a masculine position?
Society did.
So precisely. So my point here is that by society having these quote unquote masculine, feminine traits or actions, whatever, and trans individuals, prescribing to that and basically saying, I am this because I am more masculine or feminine in X, Y, and Z.
I literally just told you the
upholding of gender roles?
I'm going to say one more thing and then I'm going to let Cease cook because I saw them come up and I really want to let them get in on this too. I think what you're not understanding. So trans women, these are AMAB people who were raised masculine as boys and then a lot of times into men, and they've come out and they have transitioned and they've said, hey, I'm a woman, this is how I want to present, this is who I am. But when they transition, they still present masculinely. I'm saying they don't care about these prescribing to these stereotypes, because even though trans women are women, just like you are, maybe some of them are welders and construction workers too. And that doesn't make them less of women either, just like it doesn't make you less of a woman. So I'm trying to show you that trans people still aren't necessarily prescribing to these things. And then I'm going to let Cease go real quick.
I want to add to that a few things. So I take gender to be divided in 2 different categories. One is the psychological relationship towards one's biology, and the other is towards one's society. We are not claiming that to be a man or a woman is to embrace or be defined by stereotypes, right? Those expressions are just one way to be a man or a woman out of a vast variety and large spectrum of ways to present or act or be. So just like Cole was saying, we're not saying that to be a woman is to wear pink or to wear a dress. No, nobody's saying this, right? This is, I think, a mischaracterization of the position from the gender critical side that I think is not grasping what's actually being said by our community. It's not about stereotypes. When I talk about the social, I'm not even really talking about the expressions, because as far as I'm concerned, a cis man can wear a dress just because they like wearing dresses, and that not have to be an expression of their gender identity, right? It could be an expression of that, but it doesn't have to be. When I talk about the social, I'm talking about the lived experience, right? I'm saying that when we categorize men and women, it's not based on our knowledge of biology, but rather the secondary sex characteristics that they possess, right? And then socially, because of those characteristics, they have particular lived experiences. They're treated in a particular way. Whether that's good or bad is a separate question. I mean, I think there are plenty of stigmas socially that men and women separately go through that I wish didn't exist, right? That we should do away with, right? But the fact remains that that becomes part of the lived experience for those men and women in those societies. Like, I'll give you an example. Like, I don't know where you're from, right? But I live in the United States. And men in this culture are shamed for crying, for showing vulnerability. Like, they're made fun of that behavior. And my claim is that that is part of a lived experience that only men experience, women don't experience in that particular context.
That's not true, but I mean, continue.
Well, women are obviously shamed for other reasons, right? But not particularly in a sense where they're viewed as lesser for crying. In fact, it's more expected because of misogyny. It's expected for them to be overly emotional. That's its own stigma that they're dealing with, right? But it's a different kind of stigma than men are facing in that context,
Sure.
right?
Right.
Now,
Is it different?
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Another example are things like body count, right? Like, women are more shamed for having a higher body count than men are, right? There are these double standards and the stigmas that come along in this kind of dynamics. And if somebody was born, let's say, was born female, right, but is a trans man, it presents in all the ways in which we expect men to appear to us. Again, that being on a large spectrum of traits, but still those traits exist.
Can I ask you? I'm so sorry. I'm not trying to be rude.
Okay,
I just
you're
want
fine.
you. Can you? I need to understand your point quicker because my brain's starting to.
Okay, I'm saying that the social is referencing lived experience, not embracing stereotypes necessarily, potentially even rejecting them, but the fact that men and women have these distinct social experiences just based off their secondary sex characteristics. So a trans man is going to have a more similar experience to a cis man than to a cis woman or trans woman, socially. Do you get what I'm saying?
Say that last part again one more time. Who's going to have a similar experience? Just that last bit.
A trans man and a cis man are going to have a closer, similar experience socially, especially if the trans man is passive.
How so?
Oh, because they're treated not because they express themselves that way, but because they are treated as men in society.
Yeah,
But
and
that's
just
not
because of
so-
what
Is that
just because of what they
actually
look
true?
like,
Hold on,
it
Cease,
leads
is
to
that
certain
ac-
experiences.
Cease,
Go ahead.
Is that
Yeah.
actually true though? Because if someone has gone through their life thus far, I'm assuming waiting until the age of 18 to then begin the medical transition aspect of things, they would not have the same lived experience. Not
I did-
yet.
Not yet, but they will.
No. Hold on. I didn't say the same. I said more similar. I acknowledge that you know,
So no one
especially
has the same. No one has the same lived experience ever. Period.
no,
so
I'm
of
not-
course, everyone is going to have something similar. But I'm just simply pointing out the fact that what you're stating is inaccurate. Thus, at that point,
Well, no, because I wasn't saying that that anybody's experience is identical. What I'm saying is that as men and women, there are going to be certain shared experiences that are going to exist socially, right? Like that person who's now socialized as a man and is perceived as a man is going to have experiences that people that are perceived as women are not going to have going
If
forward.
they are perceived that way, yes. But
Yes.
if they are not perceived that way, then they won't. Don't you agree?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
So only if they pass, then, basically, is what you're saying.
Well, in that particular example, yes, right? But now we could say something like a masculine trans woman has an experience closer to a masculine cis woman, right? Because they might both be viewed in because of their masculinity in a particular way socially, right? So it depends on what we're talking about. But yes, that's what I'm saying.
I'm so sorry. I just got to ask, how is this correlated to what I stated about the...
It's correlated because you are reducing it to mere stereotypes or some sort of like embracing of stereotypes, and I'm saying
because it is.
it's not, but it isn't. Because-
Let's cease finish.
No, but it's not, because as a man, I could reject the stereotype that looks at me in a way where I should be afraid of vulnerability, right? And I should be stoic and never cry. I could say, fuck that stigma, I reject it. I don't define myself as a man by that stigma, and I reject it. But just the fact that stigma exists leads to a certain kind of experience.
So, but you're basically defining it based on stigmas. So, once again, a stigma is not what I was speaking about. I was speaking about the fact that transgender upholds the utmost of all gender roles. Like that is literally, like, in my opinion.
But yeah, but that's just not accurate, because it's not. I'm not.
That's
I'm
fine.
also.
You can say that it's not accurate. However, your long-winded rebuttal to my statement
That was very
not-
clear, by the way.
but
I just
no.
want to say, great job, C.
That's fine.
I'm learning
Fantastic,
from
C.
you
I love
all the
that.
time.
That's fine. Look, I understand what you're saying, but I think you're misinterpreting me. I was not defining it by stigmas, right? I'm saying I was defining it by lived experience, which may include stigmas. It doesn't have to include stigmas. Right? I just gave an example.
So once again,
Right.
I'm so were you here previously when because I asked follow-up, I've asked
Yes.
like further questions to elaborate on certain things prior to me getting to that point.
Yes.
Were you here for that?
Yes, and I was trying to respond to what you said, which is
No, I know. I'm just making sure. I'm just asking because I had asked previously that at the end of the day, because if there is a man or what the fuck, signed up for a MAB, huh? I don't know how to say it. Assigned at birth male, whatever. Sorry. If there is someone who is born a male who identifies with more feminine things, enjoys doing more feminine things, and wants to present feminine, why can that person not simply just be a male who likes feminine things?
They could be.
Why does that? So it's strictly based on the prescription of that individual as to wanting to identify as trans is what, because I asked that earlier and I'm not, and that's what I'm
Right.
trying to grasp.
So-
Because if it's just a
Yeah.
male who enjoys doing feminine things, why can't they just be a male who likes femininity?
I agree. They very well could be. What I'm saying is that a trans person has an incongruence with their biology and their society, right? So it very well could be that you could have a cis, like, and I said this earlier, right? You could have a cis man wearing a dress and be perfectly fine with that, right? And not identify as trans, right? I'm not saying that wearing the dress is what makes somebody a woman.
I agree.
Nobody's saying this.
No, but
So-
I agree. I genuinely, I really do agree. And so that's why I was trying to comprehend, because previously what started all of this was not every trans individual has gender dysphoria. So I was trying to, and then, and I think it was was it Solid or someone stated that, not every trans person has gender dysphoria. And that, and for some, they don't require or feel like it's necessary to have any, to do the medical stuff. More so
Correct.
just, changing their clothing or their hairstyle could be sufficient.
Yeah. So again, I can't speak for anybody else said. My view is that gender expression alone is only enough to really dictate the identity, because there are many other factors there that are present that could lead to an expression and not be an identity, right? So I don't disagree with you on that part. What I'm saying is that, look, you could have a trans woman dressing masculine and still be a trans woman and still be a woman. The same way you could have a cis woman wearing masculine clothing and still be a woman. The expression there is not what's as relevant.
But the identifier of trans is self-prescribed then, is it not?
The identifier as trans is whether or not they have that incongruence with their biology in society.
With their biology in society, so it's a person, it's a self-prescribed.
And society, so their biology and society.
No, but it describes how somebody identifies what their gender is.
Yeah,
with
to themselves, what their gender is to themselves.
Well,
right?
not necessarily, because gender is multifaceted, like I tried to explain earlier.
You said biological and societal, right?
I said biopsychosocial.
Yeah, so
That's what you said.
there's two aspects, right? There is how the individual feels about themselves and the world they live in, and then there's also how they're perceived, right? And the perception may be an incorrect one, right? There we're just talking about how we categorize based on potentially stereotypes, but not necessarily, right? But yeah, I mean, primarily it is an internal experience of themselves, which is true for all our subjective experience. Like, and it doesn't mean that it's unreasonable to believe in. Like, I can't prove any of my subjective experiences to you, and you can't do that to me. It doesn't mean they're not real.
No, I don't need anyone to prove their experiences to me at all. None whatsoever. That's not I don't care what. No offense. I don't care what anyone's experience is in the sense to where it's like that's their own. That's their experience. I'm not gonna sit here and try to disprove somebody's experience. But I will say, when people make statements as as a trans woman saying that they are a biological woman, I feel like that is slightly, that takes away from women, like biological women, because I am a biological woman.
While I have a second here, I'm going to take a mod break right after I let you know that biological just means living, and as long as that trans person is still alive, they're still biological. And then I'm going to say, hi, everybody. If you enjoy these conversations, please tap the screen. Please share it with your friends. And please keep commenting. I love the amount of comments that we're seeing today. Just keep that up. And I don't know if there's anything else. You can also wait in queue if you disagree. We do one op at a time. But come on up if you do.
I do have to head out. I just want to say one thing before I go, and Alexis, we can talk more if you'd like. Probably going to be lunch soon, but I just wanted to point this out. I understand that there are a lot of people, even on my side of the conversation, that say things on this topic that I don't agree with. The only thing I would point out is this, that I'm not reducing being a man or a woman to any one condition, or certainly any stereotypes. That is not my view. That is not the view in academics. Right? In any of the scientific and philosophical work on gender, nobody's reducing people to just stereotypes. And I think a lot of people on TikTok, I think even when they're well-intentioned, even on my side of the conversation, get that confused. And I haven't seen that on here, but I'm saying...
Your side of the conversation, I'm curious. What's your side of the conversation exactly?
Yeah, so I support trans rights. I support the validity of trans identities, and I think trans women are women, trans men are men, non-binary people are valid, all of that. And I think here a lot, for example, on this app, people say gender is just a social construct. I don't agree with that.
That's what I thought. That was what was stated and has been stated for many years.
Well,
not by science.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. There are people.
Gender is now science. I thought gender was prescribed societally.
No.
I mean, I know that its basis was based on biology, and biology also has it does mean a living organism. However, it also too does relate or correlate back to genetic lineage.
I would say that the science behind it is in the context of psychology in relation to biology. There's also some neuroscience evidence out there. Certainly, there are social sciences that support the existence historically of trans identities. But all I'm saying, I agree with you that there are people on this app that will say these things. I would just urge anybody interested in to get information from the science, not from just the TikTok app, because there are people that say all kinds of things that are, even when well-intentioned, are just misguided.
If we're doing it just based on science, then I'm just saying, if we're going solely based on science, not societal constructs, not societal perception of things, then the argument, then the validity or what it is that
is sociology not science?
Yeah, I was going to say.
Last I checked, it's science.
Yeah, I was going to say understanding.
What was science?
Sociology.
Yeah. So when I say science, what I'm referring to is psychology, sociology, anthropology. Those fields, scientifically speaking, do look at society, do look at how social constructs emerge, and also look at the lived experience of one's own physicality. Like my experience as a trans person is far more rooted in my psychology in relation to my biology than my society, right? Not all about society, and I think people a lot of people get that wrong. So there's a lot out there that I think needs to be sort of sorted out, that people have misconceptions about. And, I understand that these topics can be confusing or misleading or unclear.
Crocodile. Mm-hmm.
But that's why we have to do our due diligence and not just get our information just from TikTok, because it just,
So
it's
we're getting
dangerous.
our information just from science. So sociology, biology, and what else?
And psychology primarily.
Psychology. Okay.
Yeah.
At
And I
what
can send you what I mean by these things in more depth.
Okay, sure.
All right. Thank you for having me up. I really appreciate the conversation.
Thank you for your time.
Thanks for being here, Cease.
Of course. Good to see you, Cole.
I'm not
Good
sure
to
if
see
you
you
guys
too.
want to get more ops up here, and because you said you guys only do one op at a time.
Typically, yeah.
Okay. I don't want to take up the whole thing. I feel bad.
I mean, as long as people are still able to learn, then we don't mind how long we take on a certain person.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's not like I'm opposed to having more people up, but I feel like it just, I don't know, it tends to, I don't know these individuals as much, and like over talking happens, and it just spirals and
Fair enough.
but
Too many people, too much chaos.
Can I ask you guys a question? So I understand that sociology is a thing, and I grasp that, but I feel like something that's a bit more concrete would be like biological science. Do you? Because typically with unless intervention occurs, those things typically stay similar unless there's a naturally occurring hormone or change that causes just organically for these things to happen. Because typically trans does not occur organically unless there's been an intervention, right?
Whoa, what?
No, that's
incorrect.
absolutely not true. We have from the first written documents back in Mesopotamia, we have documentation of what we would now consider trans people and their experiences. So all throughout society, even before there's any sort of medical care to help them medically transition, these people are still trans, whether they can access that or not. So we've always existed.
How do you know that they are trans? I'm just curious, because if they didn't have an identifier, how do you, or were they intersex? I just need clarification as to how we know that they were quote unquote trans.
Well, it depends on the specific society that we're talking about, right? So sometimes it's a part. Sometimes it's a part of like their culture, and we'll see people buried where we actually are able to see that like this is somebody who was assigned male at birth or who was intersex, and they're buried with like all of these female things in their society, and we have documentation of their lives and how they lived, and these people lived as another gender than they were assigned at birth. It doesn't align, and that's what being transgender is.
Isn't that not doing exactly upholding the gender stereotype of? So you're saying they
Not a stereotype. It's
it's upholding a gender role, is it not? Because if they are basically living their life as a transgender without like
a transgender person.
A transgender person. People. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm trying to think while I'm trying to speak as a transgender. I was going to say individual. It's a transgender individual, a person. You're basically putting them in the box. Aren't you?
No, but that's the way that we were able to identify them within science, because that's how they fit in within. There were likely many people that did not fill those roles. There are some that used to follow under that.
Yeah, and then there's also
I be considered a transgender person by like early ancient documentation of what you guys are saying, because I weld. Like let's say I was a blacksmith. Let's say I took on a wife. Be like I'm confused.
No. So there were specific burial rites for people who presented one way.
And lived one way and were perceived that way, to be clear.
That's assuming
which is what Cease was talking about earlier.
No, that you're referring to just a gender role.
that's not all that's being
But
followed.
how did you guys know that those individuals from those early documentations were transgender? Because of their lived experience, right?
Because of what is documented about them and how they were treated in their like after death by the rest of society. They weren't alive to be like, oh, I want this, that, and the other when I'm buried. Society just said, oh, you lived as a woman, so we're gonna bury you as the woman that you lived as.
So that's only in societies where they were accepted and embraced, yes?
Generally. But
So-
like that's like society is like from the beginning of time.
Right, there was no intervention for them.
They weren't like othered or discriminated against in these times because it was just seen as like a natural part of human development, because it is.
A natural part of, so notice how what I stated was that somebody is not trans, like, well, not trans, but someone's lived experience as a trans individual is because God, how am I trying to, sorry, I'm trying to phrase
That you
this
haven't
correctly to where-
experienced it until you are passing, quote unquote. Is that what you're referencing? Okay, sorry.
Sorry, no, it's okay. I'm trying to come up with the right, because there's so many terms that mean so many different things to different people that I'm trying to make sure that I choose the most neutral verbiage I can.
Well, I would say that there's like, there's people have this internal sense of self that like, they know certain facts about themselves. They know their favorite color. They know these things. It isn't merely just that about lived experience. It's about more than just that. They know who they are, and they know how they feel that they best fit in.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, so it's a self-prescribed title.
I mean, to some sense, yeah, it has to be. Just like what your favorite color is.
But basically what you guys are describing to me right now, especially going back to the old text, because I wasn't bringing up ancient times or old text like that. Like you guys brought that up, but I'm simply saying that's all that this is. It was what I'm trying to get at here, because of the simple fact that what you're saying is that those people who received no gender affirming care, except for the way that their society viewed them or their community viewed them.
Yeah. Which is gender affirming care.
Okay, but what about people who didn't receive that approval from their community? Are they still transgender from back then?
They still are, yeah.
They're just
even if they weren't
So
accepted.
how do we give, that's my question here, is how do we tell? How do we know? How are we supposed to know? How can you make that statement of know that they lived as a transgender individual without gender affirming care from their community?
So there are just some cultures where there were.
You were saying, I'm sorry, you were saying just medical gender affirming care earlier. You weren't talking about the
Because I wasn't
surgery.
talking about ancient times. You brought up ancient times. You said some of the first texts that you guys
Because
had.
we're talking about people that don't have medical gender affirming care.
Because you
It's
said
a
No, I
different
wasn't,
thing.
because I said that because it does, because
you said
my-
it doesn't occur unless intervened with.
And that's
technically, well, from what I understood it to be, I did not believe that because at the end of the day, can you guys prove that those people were transgender? And if so, how?
Can you prove that you're cisgender, and if so, how?
My DNA.
Your sex and gender are not the same thing. I'm talking about the relation between your sex and your gender. Are you a woman?
Apologies, I forgot about the whole gender sex thing.
Are you a woman?
Yes, I am a woman.
How do we know?
Because I am a biological adult female.
Oh, we're going off of the adult human female definition.
Is
No,
that not
that's
the
just not
definition?
that's not what woman is referring to.
So it includes.
Well, that's not what. What's the definition of woman? Did I fuck that up?
I mean, that's one definition of woman that isn't used in science, because the scientific definitions
Well, woman wouldn't
actually
be used
elaborate
in
on
science,
things
would it?
more.
Would woman be used in science? I mean, maybe sociology, but
Yes,
not
and
in biology. In
the
biology,
reason
it
I
would be
bring up-
female.
The reason that I bring up the word woman in science dictionaries is because science has to have consistencies globally, or else we couldn't talk about findings or repeat
agree.
certain scientific things. That's why the word woman and the word gender and sex have different definitions in scientific medical
Yes,
dictionaries.
but then why exactly is it that the definition of woman is biological human female?
It's not in medical dictionaries.
So what's the medical dictionary
said-
definition?
As
You want to bring up
Keith said,
Stanford for
woman,
us?
for woman, not for female, but for woman. What's the scientific definition of woman?
As Kiza pointed out, definitions are descriptive, not prescriptive. Meaning
Yeah, that's why the host generally doesn't even debate semantics in this manner,
I mean,
because
I
they
didn't
are
bring it up.
descriptive and not
You asked me,
prescriptive.
how do I know that I'm a woman? And I gave you the reason why I know that I'm a woman.
Based off of that definition, and that
Oh.
Based off of
definition
the-
isn't
the-
used in science.
It's based off of the.
Okay, basically, the answer I was looking for, because here,
You were
here,
looking for
Stowe,
a specific.
here.
You asked me how
Well,
I know I'm a woman, and
let's
you were
see. Let's
expecting
see.
me to answer a certain way. How
Stowe,
is that genuine?
Stowe, are you a man?
Yeah.
No, I'm not a man.
How do I said
Because
Stowe.
I'm not an
I
adult.
said Stowe. I'm not speaking to you.
Sorry.
How do we know that you're a man, Stowe?
Don't get me. I
'Cause
apologize.
I just do. It's part of my innate sense of self. It's who I am.
And you
It's
told us.
based off of what's important to me critically.
And I know that because you told me, right?
Yeah, and I you don't
asked
have any
and you
reason
told
to
me who
doubt
you
me
were.
either, because like I've been consistent about this for like all the months you've known me.
Yeah, I've known you well over a year at this point, at least.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a while, and I know because I ask, and you tell me. That's how I know. It's the same exact thing with transgender people. You ask them, hey, what gender are you? Or hey, what pronouns do you use? Or hey, are you a woman? Like, which might come off a little weird. Maybe don't do that. But that specific last one. But like you ask somebody in a respectful way and they just answer you and you just believe them. That's how we know.
So this
no
is
science behind it at all.
this is Stanford Medicine's
This,
definition.
they're not gonna lie about it. That's the thing. Like, would you lie about being a different gender?
Would I lie about being a different gender? No,
Yeah,
but
would
do,
you-
Do people
exactly.
lie? So you're asking me my anecdotal. I would not, but do you know people who lie about things unnecessarily? Because I do.
Well, sure you do, but
do married men lie and say that
no.
they're
We're not
not
going to
married?
talk about people that lie about being trans until I get to speak, all right? We are not going to talk about people lying about being trans because that is such, and we have evidence to back this up. It is a minuscule, tiny percentage of the population that receive gender affirming care that go on to actually not be trans. It is like less than 1%. It is a
Yeah.
fraction of a percent.
Where's my
Do you wanna-
notes? And a study that looked over every single where is my dissonance chapter 3? In a let's see. In a review, there's a
Exactly,
review of all
Lou.
peer-reviewed articles published in English between 1991 and 2017, assessing the effects of transitioning on well-being. That was made by Cornell University. There were 72 studies. 17 were literature reviews or guidelines, so those don't. We're not counting those. Of the remaining 55, 51 showed that transitioning resulted in improvement to well-being. 4 showed mixed or no difference, and no negative findings. Between all 72 studies, they found a regret rate ranging from 0.3% to 3.8%. Also, that the regret rates that were regrets were most likely to result from a locus of lack of social support after transition, or poor surgical outcomes using older techniques.
We were able to even evaluate that 0.3 to 3 point whatever percent as well, and we found 0.6% are actually detransitioning because they're not trans, right?
How is this being measured? Because at the end of the day, this is being measured.
Would you like the studies?
Yes,
Yeah.
please give them to me. I would love to see them. Also, too, hi, baby. I would love. I also want to point out the fact of the matter is that there is no medical code for detransitioning. It's not covered by insurance. So to make this measurement that you guys are talking about, statistically speaking, of course it's going to be significantly lower than what it actually is, because of the simple fact that there is no way to quantify it yet, because there is no identifier for it yet.
Hold on, what's not
Just like
by
how there
insurance?
wasn't
What?
an able to quantify the true amount of transgender, and
So
there probably never will be.
retransitioning,
Can I
essentially,
speak? I
she's
let you guys
saying.
speak for a hot minute.
I'm trying to answer Cucumber's question very quick. She's talking about retransitioning, I believe.
Oh, retransitioning isn't covered by insurance. Okay, sorry.
Detransitioning, retransitioning, it's the same thing.
Okay. Because I was like, transitioning in itself definitely is. My
No,
bad.
transitioning, yes, but detransitioning, no. Or sorry, I don't know what. Either way.
I posted the link in chat. The title of the what was published is
Thank you, Crocodile.
What does the scholarly research say about the effects of gender transition on transgender well-being? It cites all of its sources. Did I see New Hook at all? Oh, Newfields. Never mind.
One minute, can I drop so that Kiza can come up? Kiza was a detransitioner.
I was about to say the same exact thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I would like to drop so that Kiza can come up.
Yep, we'll give them the floor.
Thank you.
You don't have to. Oh, okay. You just say. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Can we urgent pronouns, please?
Yeah, 31 she, her.
All right, thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah, of course. So I was a detransitioner. So typically speaking, individuals that detransition will recontinue their journey later on in life when that deems like safe for them to do so. Individuals who detransition typically will do so because of the fact that it is not affordable, it's not safe for them, family members don't agree with them, and so on and so forth. I had like 4 reasonings for why I couldn't continue, and it was like the next year over where I could continue again. There are individuals within the medical care who get improper medical service to them, who find out later in life that transitioning isn't for them. They were never trans to begin with. I would say that the doctor failed them, and for every right instance of purpose, that person has every instance to sue that medical practitioner as a whole, but they were never trans to begin with. There is no medical diagnosis for detransitioning in any fucking form of way.
Okay. So once again, so if the percentage is a fraction of people who detransition, you're telling me that the reasons why they do so are based. How did they even perform that study if it's a fraction of the less than 1% of the community?
Yes.
Less than 1% of the population.
So from the studies that I've looked at and seen reviews of, what a lot of them do is like they essentially ask them. Generally, this is taken with surveys. Like they do a wide survey and they just ask a bunch of questions to transgender individuals or people who have a history.
Self-reported?
Yeah.
It's a self-reported study?
Yeah, because that's just the only. I mean, I don't have any reason to doubt what people say, unless if you do.
So, guys, I've genuinely appreciated this conversation. Can I please yield my position to Crocodile Tears? Crocodile Tears is someone, they're a respectful op, similar to me.
I was about to say it depends on if they stay respectful and
no. If someone comes up here and ever disrespects you guys, I want to yield my position to them, but it's their job to keep their position up here. Yes. With respect.
Up to the host if he wants to roll that way.
Yes.
Sure.
I'm just making the request. You guys don't have to adhere to it, but I am going to drop down. I do appreciate the conversation. Thank you guys so much for being respectful to me. I will always be respectful to you. I appreciate your guys' time.
Yeah, I hope we all learned something today, especially from Cease.
And thank you guys for taking the time to explain things to me. I know you don't have to do that, so thank you.
I didn't say much, but thank you for at least being somewhat open-minded. Well, I think you're more open-minded than a lot of guests I see on here.
Or at least more respectful. And I think up until the end, like even when she was saying like, it's if somebody is masculine, that doesn't make them a man or vice versa, you know? And like, I'm like, yes, we totally agree with you. It just, I think at the end there, that's where a lot of things got twisted. And we were seeing a couple fallacies, like it was pretty rough there a couple times, but yeah. I hope that she's able to understand things better now.
Yeah, I give you that like commendation for having the patience for that, because it was just constant begging the question fallacy, which is going around in circles and circles. It had no purpose.
I do really wonder, like, what it would take, because we definitely got into the discussion, but I do genuinely wonder what it would take for her to agree.
She was checked out.
Honestly.
It was very obvious that she was very checked out. She didn't care.
Did you guys? Sorry, this is completely off topic, but I think Oh, Cole, I think you'd get a kick out of this. Did you know that President Trump sent a letter to the, what was it? It was the prime minister of a country, and he cut spelled the prime minister literally had corrected his grammar.
I know what
and
you're talking about.
It's so funny. It's so funny.
Dutch. I think it was.
Yeah, I think it was. Oh my god, wait.
Dude, please send me a clip of him reading that letter or some shit, however it is. I gotta see that shit.
This country's fucked. I'm just over it.
I forget.
I'm going back because, oh yeah, man. Yeah, the prime minister of Norway. Hold on. Trump's
Denmark.
But yeah, whoa. Okay, I have to go in a second, at least for now. But yeah, I just want to say for all Ohioans, this is news that we have as of yesterday. It's the 31st, right?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, so this was as of yesterday. ICE is packing up Minneapolis and heading to Ohio, specifically Springfield, Ohio. It's just like we were looking earlier because I'm going to be passing by in a week for family stuff. So I may end up joining a protest at some point if we've got them going on. And I'm sure with people like Greg Levy going around the state and leading chants of OH ICE out, I'm sure we're going to make it hell for them. So at least I'm letting y'all know to be safe. And if you would like to participate in things, I'm sure there are already plans being made. I just need to look into things today to see where things are going to be at in a week. So yeah, let's give them hell. Bye guys, for now.
Please be safe, Cole.
I can't find. I need to find the letter.
Yeah,
That
I can
is,
send
like,
it to
really
her.
Yeah, so it seems like we have.
I might come down to eat. I might come back.
Okay.
But I'm very sorry I haven't been talking at all. I got really wrapped up in my drawing because I was drawing while I was gonna debate, and then I got distracted.
Okay. Just
bye bye for now.
Okay. Hi, Crocodile Tears. Can I get your age and pronouns, please?
Yeah, sure. I'm 27 and he him.
So we can continue on the conversation we had, or you can just start off new if you want to. I don't.
Yeah, no, I think something that I found really interesting was somebody was invoking neuroscience for some sort of basis for gender identity. Is that correct?
It's possible. I personally don't hold to the idea that you need to have it makes sense that trans individuals might have some sort of different if you study the brains in different ways, they might fit into their own category of patterns. That there might be some sort of
that. What do you mean by category patterns?
Yeah, so if you were to test their with males versus females, we know that males are more or less empathetic and more systematic when coming down to making decisions, while females tend to be more sympathetic and less or more empathetic and versus sympathetic. So they use more emotions over logic, at least based off of studies that I've seen. So and they'll fall into nice little bell curves. But it wouldn't surprise me at all that from what I've seen is that whenever you do this with trans individuals, you come with its own bell curve essentially.
Sure. What methodologies are they using to test that trans women had the similar brain functions to cis women?
It's not even saying cis women, so they have their own individual.
Own individual. So I mean, what would be invoked by that? That statement. What would you be alluding to with that statement? Because if they're not going to be similar, then there's really no point in referencing them at all.
No, because they.
Hold on, just respectfully, can I just have a conversation with the host? The issue is when I have a one-on-one dialogue with someone, I feel like I can get somewhere. But when people interject and they bring in their own opinions and ideas, if that's not going to be able to be the case, then I can just drop. It's no problem.
Yeah, and I also
Yeah, sure. Let's not talk to trans people about the trans conversation.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I came up here and had a conversation with the host. I think that me having a one-on-one conversation with the host, with as respectful as I've been so far, I think that would be a completely warranted ask.
Again, as I said, the host is not trans.
Yeah, what's the relevance to that?
I don't understand everything that it's like to be trans. There's other people that understand this better than me at times.
Sure. So would it be better if I had sure, just really quickly, would it be better than if I just had the conversation with Cucumber instead of you? Would that be okay?
I mean, I run my panels in a way that typically that allows individuals to hop in and out as they, wish, as long as we're having like a civil discourse. I don't really see the problem.
No, sure.
Yeah. So
the issue that would be like for me obviously is like if I'm having like a one-on-one conversation like I was just having with you, like Cucumber just kind of like jumps in and interjects when we're like, I'm trying to get an answer from you to understand where you're coming from, and then in the midst of you trying to respond, Cucumber jumps in, and then we kind of just like lose all like ability to like track a conversation, right? So I just feel like it ruins productivity.
So you're tone policing?
I never said anything about someone's tone. Can I have a one-on-one conversation with
But
someone?
you're trying to police how the host runs their
I think
panel.
that's a very like respectful thing to ask.
Yeah, but you're trying to police how the
I'm not trying to police anything. I was just I asked. I didn't make just really quickly. I asked. I didn't make any demands. I asked if that would be acceptable.
Okay, so they said no, right?
Actually, I didn't hear a no. I didn't hear a no.
Oh my God! Then I'm asking. Jesus.
Didn't hear a no.
Dote. What is your opinion on this?
Yeah, I prefer if we just had an open discussion as usual.
Awesome. Okay.
Sounds cool.
Great. So Cucumber then, so would you agree that like gender identity is going to have some sort of neurobiological basis?
I believe that it could.
You believe that it could, but
There are
like
some instances where it does, and they do have studies that show.
Oh, interesting.
However, it's not going to apply for everybody, and the studies that they do have show even before hormones have been induced.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Are you familiar with the meta-analytic findings from the Enigma Transgender Persons Working Group? Are you familiar with that study by any chance?
No, could you enlighten me?
Absolutely, yeah. So if you're going to invoke any sort of like neurobiological like study, I would highly recommend you do this one because it's actually the largest like sample size or imaging data set that we have currently in this field. It's with 803 participants, and it's before hormone treatment, which is going to be extremely important because obviously we're going to recognize that hormones play a significant role in making structural changes to the brain. Would you agree?
Yes, I do believe that they
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. So when we look at this, right, we could conclude based on the findings that transgender individuals have some sort of unique brain phenotype. But what they never argue is that these structural differences are caused by some sort of gender identity or maybe some sort of like incongruence that they're suffering with, right? So the issue I have is when people invoke like this neuroscience to like presuppose gender identity. It's an issue because that's actually not going to be discussed within like the actual science. So you would just be overstating that. Just really quick. I just wasn't finished talking. If you don't mind me allowing, if you don't allow me, like, can I just finish my statement, please?
You misstated what I was saying.
I didn't misstate anything you said. I was making a broad comment. I was making a broad comment. The crash out is coming, ladies and gentlemen. It's okay. So yeah. So again, just really quickly as I finish my statement. The issue is that, like, when people bring up neuroanatomy, they're invoking that there's some sort of like functional difference, right? But the issue is you wouldn't be able to find any sort of like causal mechanism that's going to link this like unique brain structure to any sort of like gender identity or some sort of like incongruence that these individuals would be like feeling. So I would just recommend, if you haven't read the literature, to just drop the conversation.
Are you talking on the BNST?
Actually, I'm not talking about the BNST. I'm actually talking about, in this particular study, they measure 4 patterns for GMV, cortical surface area, things of that nature. But these are all going to be structural differences. They're not going to be functional ones. And if you're going to sit here, just really quickly, if you're going to argue that there is functional differences.
No, please provide the source. I'd like to read it.
I have the source up right now.
Yeah, you could look up It's
No, I'm
from the
not going to do the
Enigma.
research for you. You
Yeah,
made a
it's.
positive. You made a
I've
positive claim,
already
and it
I've
is
already
your job
read
to
the
provide
study.
me the
You
source. I'm not doing
I'm
the research
providing it
for you.
if you'll just close your mouth. Yep, thank you. Yeah, it's from the Enigma Transgender Persons Working Group. I forget the name of the exact study, but if you look that up, 800 participants,
You
you'll
forgot the
surely
name of
find
the
it.
exact study, so then go find it.
You'll find it. Yep,
Yeah,
it's
No,
okay.
so
I'm not doing the
I
research
know
for
you don't have
you.
an argument to address what I'm saying, so you're just
No,
gonna
I'm
attack
not
me on
doing
like
the
little
research
senseless
for you.
things.
You made a
But it's
positive
okay.
claim.
Just stay
Provide
down
the
there with your
source.
12 coins. It's okay. Just stay down there with your 12
I don't
coins.
care about the coins. What the fuck are
Oh
you
my
on about?
God, you're so sad right now.
okay,
Hey,
so
You're so sad
what
right
the
I'm
now.
actually
hell,
not.
dude?
hold on. I'm just gonna interrupt here. What does this even like? I don't even think this like comes to the conclusion that transgender individuals don't exist, or that they shouldn't be treated in any way. This is just saying that they have their own unique phenotype. That if anything,
Right,
this is
exactly.
just evidence that says, hey, these are unique individuals.
Actually, no, you'd be incorrect. Because actually, you're going to find that the findings are extremely heterogeneous. They have large overlap, and they're inconsistent. So if you read the entire study, which I know you haven't had the chance to do yet, because it's actually quite long, you'll actually find that the conclusion is that, sure, some transgender individuals have some sort of unique brain phenotype, but again, it's going to be highly heterogeneous. It's going to have large overlap, and it's going to be inconsistent. And so again, you would be able to make no sort of claim that transgender people have some sort of predisposition to brain structures that cause some sort of gender identity. And if you're unable to make that claim, then there's really no point to invoke it in the first place.
Give us some damn time.
Yeah, and I also
please stop
just
speaking to us like we are children.
Hey, Stoats, can I have the source, please, since he doesn't want to give it to me?
yeah.
I literally just gave it to you. Just search it up. Enigma person. It's from the Enigma Transgender
I'm not
Persons Working
talking
Group.
to you. I talked
There's
to Stoats.
the
Can I get the source, please?
there's a PMID in chat.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I can bring it up on the screen if you want me to. And it's also like I don't particularly care that much about like the biological aspect of it, like in terms of saying, hey, do these people have different brains or anything like that. I don't think that we have to show that in order to say, hey, these people are justified. It's very clearly.
Which is literally what I said.
Yeah. So what would gender identity be contingent upon?
Yeah, it's going to be based off of like an internal sense of self. This is well understood.
Gotcha. So basically, if I proclaim that I'm a man, then that makes me a man, correct?
I mean, you can be lying to yourself.
No, it's the persistence, insistence,
Well,
and
I don't-
consistence.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily have to lie to myself. That would just be like classical like circularity. Because again, if I ask you what a man is and you say it's someone with a gender identity, that would be like a deep internal sense of self of being a man or a woman. That would just be circular. It's not actually providing an argument as to how that's the case.
Persistence, they test for the persistence.
Yeah, saying persistence and consistence and
Oh my God.
all that stuff doesn't actually contribute to
Please
your
let me
argument.
fucking speak. You keep talking over me.
To crash out.
Yeah, you are
No,
interrupting
you're being
them,
incredibly
so-
disrespectful.
No,
and we
you're
were
just
told that you were respectful. and
you're just
being
waffling. It's
incredibly
okay.
disrespectful.
Yeah,
You're just waffling.
you complained when they were interrupting you, but now you're interrupting them. So I will actually like start muting you if you just keep interrupting.
Thank you.
And
Can I
you're
rub
gonna-
your bald head?
Yeah, nice pivot.
Wow, and you're supposed to
No,
be
it's not a pivot.
respectful.
There was nothing to pivot from. I was just asking a question. It looks really shiny and smooth.
That's. Can we?
Anyways, Stoats, I looked at the overall source, and it's not even the full completed source. There's no conclusion. It's just the abstract. Do you have the whole thing?
Wow. So are you saying that the study hasn't like concluded because all you can like find is the abstract?
I'm trying to look at the full source.
Oh, got it. I fear maybe that's like a user error, or like maybe like a.
No,
like
that
a-
is a you issue. Provide the full source.
I gave it to you multiple times. I'm not in front of my computer to like read it. Yeah, I'm not in front of my computer at the moment.
I'm still speaking to the host, not you.
Yeah,
What-
if you
what,
click on
sorry,
if you click on the DOI, it should give you the link to the full one. I might have been
Okay,
wrong
thank
about giving you the wrong because it's I just pulled it up whatever it was on PubMed.
It's the full link to the Oxford academic link, correct?
Yeah, I don't have access to I don't have institutional access, so I can't read the full thing right now.
So there should be a
anyways.
button on that that says full link, Giza, if that helps.
Yeah, I found it. I'm reading it now. Thank you.
Okay, cool.
This is like a field trip.
No, it's us trying to understand what's going on and talking to each other so that we can better understand it because communication is important in these conversations. Thank you.
Yeah, no, 100%. I would just be like curious as to like if you were like actually able to like provide any substance to the conversation instead of just waffling.
So, like, based off of this, what is your argument, please, so I can have the understanding?
Yeah, sure. You want me to like repeat what I literally just said like 4 times?
I want to know what your argument is.
So you weren't listening like the first 4 times when I said it?
I was reading the source that I was provided. Please provide the argument rather than arguing with me.
Alexis, I'm just confused. Did I not already give my argument multiple times?
So I heard you give your argument, however, you're talking extremely quickly. I think that the demeanor that we were having previously, granted, you don't have to have the same debate style that I do, but something that I will ask is that you allow people to respond. And granted, you don't have to adhere to this. I'm just asking only because I've heard you debate before, and I feel like you got condescending very quickly, and you started doing the personal attacks. And I just come on. I mean, we don't. You have the knowledge and the ability to stand 10 toes down on just your perspective alone. I think that I know that you can without having to be, shitty. And I get it. Things can be frustrating. I was getting frustrated towards the end, which was why I just decided to drop down. But I just wanted to ask that of you, and you don't have to adhere to it. It's completely fine. You can treat people the way you deem fit, but I just that's all I'm asking. So that's all.
W. Alexis. Okay, so my claim, right, or my position is that if you're going to say that there's some sort of neurological basis for gender identity by invoking neuroscience, I've just now provided you with the largest data imaging set in this field, in which they measure 4 patterns of GMV and cortical surface area, and they found that some transgender individuals have a unique brain phenotype. Although it's going to be extremely heterogeneous, there's going to be large overlap, and it's not going to map cleanly onto male and female patterns, right? And so essentially what I'm trying to say to you is there is no sort of like brain structure that is going to align males with a female typical brain pattern or a male typical brain pattern based on the evidence. And even if that was the case, there would be no functional mechanism that you would be able to provide to me that would actually prove that this is the case. And they actually explicitly state this in the study, that they do not argue one time that gender dysphoria causes these differences in the brain. They do not argue that some sort of incongruity is causing these differences in the brain. So what I'm saying is, if we look at the largest data imaging set that we have in this field, it would be actually completely an overstate on your behalf to say that transgender people have the brains of the opposite sex, or that their brains are neurobiologically at a predisposition to experiencing gender dysphoria or being trans.
Let's let them
Okay,
respond.
so on my understanding here, do you know what the BNST is and how it operates?
I'm just
The
actually going to interrupt
NSTC
here. Hold on.
Yeah.
I also just don't really care about transmedicalism in the first place. I said that there could be a case, but that like it isn't what I normally talk about, because I don't think it matters.
Yeah, I don't
respond
care
to
about
Keys or
transplant
no?
aspects. That's why I brought up the BNST.
And this
Yeah,
is
so
exactly why I stated that you were
When we talk
strong.
about the 5 sex characteristics, right? We look at phenotype, genotype, hormones, secondary sex characteristics, and
pivot.
neurotypical sex, where we've determined within the neurotype, right, there is a sexually dimorphic region that determines that sex is actually bimodal, because people can either be both male and female or neither male and female.
Yeah, not the cookie you think it is, but I can tell you the BNSTC or the central subdivision of the striatum terminalis, it's a region within your hypothalamus. The interesting part about this is that portion of your brain actually doesn't become sexually dimorphic until adulthood. I actually have a study that I can bring you to show you that is the case.
That study.
Also, yeah, no, absolutely, I'll give that to you. But also the other thing that I would love to like point out is that when we're looking at these or this difference in the brain, do you know what's actually going to cause any sort of like structural difference inside of the central subdivision of the striatum terminalis? Do you know what that's going to be?
Don't care. Like I said, I don't care about
What's
transmedicalism.
interesting
Was
is
it
you
a
don't.
structural difference or was it a neurological difference?
Yeah, it's gonna
Why-
be a structural difference, and it's gonna be caused by hormones. And then my next question for you would be: is that if we're observing this difference, right? What would be the cause of this difference inside of the BNSTC?
You're trying to argue a point that we said we are not arguing and never made that claim.
Yeah, so
I
mean,
said that there
what's
might
interesting
be a
is
case.
the BNSTC. The
Right,
BNSTC
we
was
said that it could be.
Wait, okay, hold on. But
Yeah,
Alexis,
I brought up the BNST.
yeah, this is
but
this
I
is
also
where I
said
start
don't
getting
argue
like,
transmedicalism.
yes.
Bring it
in
back
the
around.
first
Let's bring it
place.
back around though. So that's
No,
what they're
no.
saying their argument was not. I do recall neurological, something neurological being brought up. I don't recall the exact specifics of it, but if that's not what they were arguing, then that's what they were arguing. However, I hear that study quoted quite a bit that people have the incorrect, that there's a brain incongruency, which I've always found to be interesting. And I'm almost certain that someone did say an incongruence when I was up here on the panel, but I don't want to make the claim on your guys' behalf. I'm just simply stating, crocodile,
I mean,
where,
there can be,
No,
but
Alexis,
that requires a lot of testing
respectfully,
and like scans
Yeah,
for
go
it
ahead.
that aren't like
Go ahead,
actually
Brock.
medically covered.
I get it.
Yeah, no, respectfully, like I'm just gonna say this and then I'm just gonna like exit because like I'm gonna go do some other things.
I
But
grant that you own a
what's
weasel.
frustrating? Yeah, no. What's interesting is that like these individuals keep like invoking these certain talking points, like the BNSDC was just brought
We
up, and then I
didn't invoke it.
hold on, and then really quickly, and then it's invoked and it's brought up, and then I address it, and then it's like, oh, that's not the claim we were making, and it's like,
No,
okay,
I very specifically,
so
when
it's just
you
very
came up,
disingenuous.
no,
I
when
understand.
you came up, I very specifically told you that while this is something that could happen, we do not argue with that because we understand that there are things deeper. We do not do transmedicalism here.
Got it.
There
And
are
then
different factors that go into this.
Yeah,
Right,
I
and so
was
the
only
only
talking
thing
about
that
the
makes-
5 concepts of sex because it leads to the understanding of how sex works. I wasn't even talking about gender in that aspect. What I can say is that there are understandings that there is a possibility that within neurotypical aspects that we can determine gender. However, we don't have enough studies to determine that yet, right? There can be something there, but the only way that we can determine that fully is by getting the testing for it, and that's not covered.
Which would be an overstate on your behalf, right? To say that that would be the case.
What?
Yeah, because that wouldn't be supported by science in any way.
Which is why Kisa said that we're not arguing that.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. So then, like, why was it invoked in the first place? Because I was here when you guys were
No.
talking about it.
We very specifically said, and I'll say it again, we very specifically said that while this is a possibility that it plays in, that is not something that we are arguing because we understand that there are other things that go into this.
Yeah, well, the only other thing that you said, like, is gonna like go ahead and like substantiate these individuals, like, from being like into the category of like man and woman, would just be on the basis of some sort of like internal claim, right? And obviously that would be unfalsifiable. Now you can sit here
Nothing
and
was
say that
able
that
to
would.
be said because you've been straw manning what we are saying and not listening to our arguments.
Yeah, so I mean that's just you coping. I haven't strawmanned anything. Everything that has come out of my mouth so far has just been like absolute fucking fact, like just 100% like pure facts. And it's okay, like you
What
can't
you're
contend with it
talking
because
on
you
is
haven't
the
read the
basis
study.
of
It's okay, like I get it.
transmedicalism, which we said we weren't going to talk on. So I don't
Right.
know what you're talking about.
Well, like invoking
We
or
very specifically said.
when I talk about neuroanatomy, that's not necessarily talking about like transmedicalism, right? Like
Right,
I,
It is,
except we
though.
said we
I
weren't
don't know where
going
you're drawing that
into
line.
it. So please respect our boundaries within this space. Yes?
Gotcha. Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Thank you for allowing me to come up here and entertain the people that love me the most. Take care.
Bye, Croc. Thank you for
Okay,
your
whatever.
support. And I don't ever want to be I don't want to be someone who tone polices anybody. Croc is his own individual person. I do appreciate the facts that Croc does bring. I do understand if you guys were not making that argument, then that's fair. I just that is something that I have noticed though. When people feel as though they're losing an argument, they'll say that wasn't the argument. However,
No.
I didn't hear you guys touch on the neurological aspect of things, like all but like very briefly the one time.
Right.
Croc,
that
thank
was
you for
not our argument in any
That was
aspect.
absolutely pathetic.
I heard a neurological reference made, I think, one time, and that was like top, like
Right. And
that was
to
basically
which
it.
we said that while it could play an aspect in, we do not.
Yes, what would be your
that.
main argument, though? If you don't mind me
Yeah,
asking.
It's not. Oh my god.
Yeah,
Holy
can we
hell.
try to dial it back a few layers just because that was kind
Yeah,
of
no, I just asked what would be the main
Sorry,
argument.
Rocky. Sorry,
That's all I
Jamie.
did.
Yeah, it's generally that I support transgender people and gender affirming care. I kind of want to know why, what would it take for you to agree, but also like why you would disagree. One of the things I did want to
Yes,
bring
like,
up
I
real
would-
quick before we move on is that like even if like I actually wouldn't run the argument that even if like we had really good evidence to show that these people were like they were identical to female, that doesn't actually support that like what I'm trying to say that we should support like gender affirming care and stuff, because that doesn't get you to like an ought claim, and that's just like an is ought fallacy at that point. So like I would never actually run that in the first place because of that.
Yeah, it also poses like the statement that trans people can only have gender affirming care if they have this going on for them.
Yeah.
Well, I would the only reason I can't support it is because I don't see any logic behind what a woman is and how a T woman can be a woman, and it's like in the first place. Like, what's the logic behind it? What's the objective truth?
Hold up, why can't you say trans woman? Why do you have to say T woman?
Oh, because I'm
That's
just
what I'm
used to
trying to
debating on
understand.
some other website where I can't like say the whole word or I'd get banned. So I
There's a
censor myself.
website where you can't say trans women. What website
Yeah,
is
I
this?
just debate on
This
other
one, for a long
platforms
time
and
you
things
couldn't.
like that. It's just I just got used to censoring myself. So
Which website, please?
This one.
it doesn't matter what the website is. This is just out of
The TikTok
the
is not
whole
like that at
topic.
all. What are you talking about?
No, TikTok really did.
This is not even about the topic, sir. I just want to
No,
hear
it
the argument
doesn't.
to what the logic behind the T woman being a woman. Like, what's the objective truth behind that?
Okay, so
you
first
can
off,
say
do you think
trans.
that so if I was to tell you there's a tall woman before me, would you question the fact that that woman in front of me is a woman despite the fact that I said they were tall?
Well, yeah, I would question both.
You would question both.
Yeah, I mean, this is
Realistically, you would
how human
question
beings
both.
work. I would question. I don't know you. I don't trust you, so you could be lying to me. So why would I
So
not
you're
question both?
disingenuous. Got it.
No, I just don't
Understood.
believe
So
that
the
shit.
reason
I
why
shouldn't believe a random person
I
that I
asked
see
you that
online.
question, anyways, I'm still speaking. So the reason why I asked you that question, right, is is an adjective which describes a noun. In this case, the noun being woman. Tall being the adjective, which is the descriptionary term to describe what type of woman they are. If I was to say the individual is tall before me and is a woman, you would not question the fact that the individual before me is a woman, despite the fact that I said they were tall, because you understand that tall is a descriptionary term. You're coming up here being super disingenuous.
No, hold on, wait. In this society we live right now, I don't believe all women are women because I don't believe T women are women, right? So I'm gonna, of course, I'm
I
gonna.
didn't ask
This is a different
you if you
circumstance,
believe
different
all women
society
are
we live in.
women.
Yeah, I understand. This is why I'm telling you that I would question both.
Yeah,
That's
that
why I'm telling you
question never
I'm
came
explaining
out
to
of my
you why I
mouth.
would question both. I didn't say that's what you said.
That
I'm explaining to you.
question, hey, listen to what I'm saying. That question never came out of my mouth. The question I asked you was, if there was a woman before me and I said they were tall, would you question the fact that they are a woman despite the fact that I said they were tall?
Yes, I would
That
question
was the
both,
question I asked you.
and I would question both.
Then you are
Now-
a disingenuous fuck.
Yeah, explain it. Go ahead and put the
Wait,
logic
hold
behind
on.
that.
Just did.
What happens if this
Yeah,
is
and I
coming
tried to
from?
answer that, but you said that's not what I'm asking. I'm confused. Can I answer the question there? Yeah, so I'm gonna answer that because we live in a time where I don't believe all women are women, like including T women. So I'm gonna question both because this is the times that we live in, right?
So you don't believe short women are women?
No, I don't. What?
You don't believe black women are women?
What is that
What you were
statement?
saying. That's why.
Wait. This is
that's
called a false
why
equivalence
she-
right here. This is a fallacy.
No,
It's not.
it's not, because Kiza was saying that when it comes to the adjective, that's why she said tall before. She said, would you, if Kiza were to go up to you and say that there's a tall woman over there, would you question that it's a woman? And you
Yeah, I
said
would question both if they're a woman or not because I don't know the person
and
at all.
that's why Kiza said that you would also question whether short women are women.
Well, if she told me, yeah, I mean, do I
You
see
know,
the woman in front of
I
me?
wanna
Of
know
course, I'm
how
gonna
co-
question that.
Wait,
Do I see the
Cucumber,
person in
Cucumber,
front
I
of
want to
me?
know how consistent he is on this argument, right? So if I told you there was a black woman before me, would you question the fact that they were a woman despite the fact that I said they were black?
I would question both because I don't know you and I don't see them.
Okay, so you're a disingenuous racist fuck too.
No,
Got
I'm
it,
just a
understood.
person
So
who's
you're just
subconsciously
super
gonna question
consistent, but
both. This is
super
human
racist,
nature.
okay,
Hold
got it.
on.
Wait, so human nature is to believe whatever you say? Human nature is to believe whatever a random person says? I
Let's
don't get
just-
what you're on about
Says
here.
that there's a woman
This is
over
completely
there.
off topic too.
Yeah,
If
so
someone says that there's a woman over there, I'm just going to be like, okay, there's a woman over there.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't believe that.
understand.
That's just you because I don't know you. I wouldn't
Yeah.
believe anybody like that. I don't know. I don't see. I'm confused
you-
how that's an argument.
do you think tall women are
Host,
women?
this is extremely disingenuous.
Yeah, I'm
Do I
trying to
believe
get.
women are women?
Yeah, do you think that tall women are women?
Like in like the actual, so like define to me what a woman is in this statement.
Yeah, I'm
Oh
just
my
asking
God.
you what you think as a woman. Do you think tall women are women?
Like if a biological woman is tall, then yeah, she is a woman. I don't get what tall got to do with it.
Biological is not a. So when we say biological just means living. We're
Yeah,
not
so
referring to
so it
the
depends on the context that you state biological in. You cannot just say that biological is going to mean living in every statement.
Yeah, could you
It's going to
give
be
me the
depending on the
definition of
context
biological
itself.
then in this
It's going to
context?
depend on the context of it itself. If I'm saying
could you give
biological
me the
woman,
context?
I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
but here's the thing: when you're saying a biological woman, right? You're talking about the aspect of the component of biological as a genetic component. Being a woman is not genetic.
Oh well, yeah, I'd like to refuse that. I
That's
would
the
say
context
being
of the
a woman is
situation that
genetic.
you're trying to use. The
Well, yeah, I would say a
overall
woman is
correct
genetic.
concept of the situation, right, would be the study of biology, which is a study of living organisms. So if
No,
we
no,
look
but
at
I would state that a
biological
woman is
woman, it would
biological.
say living woman.
No, I
That
would
would
say
be
that
the
a woman
correct
is genetic
statement.
though.
Yeah, so
I
that's
mean,
Woman is
I
not
can
genetic.
substantiate
yeah.
to that.
So wait,
to
hold on.
Woman is
you.
not genetic.
Hold on. Do you think that there's a possibility that there is that there is a more broad, nuanced, or evolving meaning of woman?
Wait, can you repeat that again? You cut off.
Yeah. Do you think that it's possible that there's a more broad, nuanced, or evolving meaning of woman?
Like substantiate to that? What do you mean?
Yeah, so like words change over time, or that they can have more nuance that are beyond just a mere strict definition.
Oh yeah, I mean words can change over time, but the system or how we classify that word or what the classification behind it will not change because it's always going to be the exact same system.
Oh, so you're saying that a
The
woman
person below
can't
me
be
is
like
such a low tier.
Yeah, I don't believe women can change over like the actual system of how we define a woman can change, but like adding more categories still will 100% be possible.
Oh, I would just
as woman accepted the category term.
Yeah, I would just uphold that would be like an appeal to definition fallacy at that point, because you're
I'm not appealing to any definition.
You're
Because,
incorrectly
you understand what the
hinging
definition of
your
woman is?
you're incorrectly hinging your entire argument based off of a strict non-nuanced dictionary definition of woman that's meant to stifle debate and cherry pick in order to favor your viewpoint.
Wait, so isn't
This
your
is
definition the Stanford
appeal to
definition?
definition fallacy.
Wait, isn't your didn't you bring the definition of the Stanford definition and state, oh yeah, this is the Stanford definition, therefore this is the medical definition for what a woman is? So
No,
were
no.
you not appealing to the dictionary by this logic?
Yeah, so but here's the thing: my whole entire argument doesn't hinge on that being the only definition, with it not being more that there couldn't be a more nuanced or evolving meaning of a word.
Yeah, so
Yours
if we're
does.
gonna define
Also
both. We're gonna have to
include-
define
okay.
both categories of social aspects and the biological aspects. You can't just uphold woman to be a socially constructed or just social aspect of woman. You cannot define it by one
Well,
of its
yeah,
aspects. You have to
what's
define it by
the
both,
fallacy in
right?
saying that? You could. That's
So
your
what,
claim.
like,
You got to
that-
show how that's not logically possible.
Yeah, so it's not logically possible because you're defining a woman as one, like as one aspect when it has two aspects to it. You cannot uphold the woman to be sociological only because there's no objective grounding behind woman. Woman wouldn't exist. I mean, nobody just said, "Oh yeah, this is a woman," just out of nowhere. They have biological grounding to it. This is why women even exist in the first place.
Actually,
right?
the
As
term
objective
woman,
truth, too.
man, boy, and girl wasn't known until Eurocentric values were forced down the throats of indigenous people
Oh well, no, it's gonna
by
be
forcing the Bible
biological
down other
implications
people's
for why
throats.
women exist.
I'm sorry?
So wait, you're telling me basically the word woman just came out of nowhere. There was no objective truth behind it. It's
Yes,
just
it
like
came
yeah.
from the Bible. We didn't know
What?
the term. We didn't know the term woman, boy, man, or girl until the
Yeah, it
Bible was
doesn't change the
forced
fact
down the
it still
throats
has
of indigenous people
objective
through
grounding.
Eurocentric values.
Yeah, there doesn't
Wait, how
need
does
to
it
be.
This is
change the fact that
fact.
it has objective grounding?
Hold
though?
on,
Wait,
there's
how
no
does it
objective
change the fact
grounding
that it
in
has
woman,
objective
though.
grounding?
Yeah, there is no objective
Huh?
grounding for women.
Yeah, 100%. There is objective grounding to what a woman is. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so if you're
Biology
going to
is
say
objective
that,
grounding to.
if you're going to say that that's the case, then you are just going to fall into an appeal to definition fallacy yet again.
I'm not appealing to any definition. Wait, hold on. No. I'm not appealing to definitions. I'm saying the grounding to what a woman is. How we know a woman exists is through biology. Without biology, we would not have the word or term woman.
So what about
Yeah,
sociology? So what about
Do
the
you
field of
believe that-
sociology? Does
Yeah,
that just
so
not
yeah, of course,
exist?
you can. No, you
Or
can uphold
anthropology.
that definition, but you cannot uphold to it only and just decide a woman is just sociological. You're gonna have to uphold the biological aspect of it too. My definition is gonna uphold to both.
We did not learn the terms man, boy, woman, and girl from biology. We learned it from the Bible being forced down indigenous people's throats because we
That's gonna
know
be
through
wrong.
anthropology that there is a confirmed aspect of 900 genders that are confirmed throughout the world, such as the Skopje of Russia, the brother sisters and sister brothers of Australia, the Muhe Muhehi of Mexico, Two Spirit of Turtle Island, which is that of Canada, Mexico, and the U.S., and non-binary, which is recognized within the U.S. and many different countries itself. Right? We didn't know
Yeah,
the
so by that
terms
logic,
man,
Kaiser, can you
boy,
tell me how a
woman,
woman
and
exists?
girl until the Bible was forced down indigenous people's throats through Eurocentric values.
So
This is
Kaiser, by that
factual
logic,
information.
I can talk biology with the
by
low
that
tier
logic,
only.
Kaiser, I want you to, we're not talking biology here. By that logic, Kaiser, I want you to explain to me, how do we even know the term woman exists? Like you're stating that it just got made out of nowhere. Somebody just said, oh yeah, that's a woman, therefore now
Every
woman
word
exists.
got made out of nowhere.
No, that's not how it works. It has actually objective grounding to it. You cannot state that every word came out of nowhere.
Every
What?
word was made out of nowhere. Anyways, I'd love to hear
Bro,
what
what? Can you
Faye
answer me?
wants to
How do we
say.
know if something has objective grounding to it? Like, I mean, you want to
don't
tell me what the
Literally
objective
every
grounding of a woman
word
is?
has been made out of nowhere.
If there's no
You're
objective
just
truth
being
to what a woman
super
is, woman doesn't
disingenuous.
exist.
Wait, hold on,
Wait, listen
Kaiser,
to this. If there's
Kaiser,
no
I'm
objective
gonna.
truth to it, then there's no woman.
Yeah. So yeah, why is that the case?
Yeah, because every word is gonna have objective, grounding to why it exists in the first place.
Okay, so how is a car objectively defined?
So a car is objectively defined by its actual parts and how, its actual parts and its actual purpose, my bad.
Yeah, except for none of the things that you could say that something objectively like a car objectively has to have to be a car are required, because
Yeah,
there's
but I
cars
can
that
definitely
break
state this. Yeah, I definitely can state that.
Yeah, so like if you're gonna say that like a car is like a vehicle designed to transport a small number of passengers that has 4 wheels and
I wouldn't say small number.
Well, I mean that's what the dictionary definition tends to have.
I'm not appealing to dictionary. I'm not using every definition from the dictionary. I'm appealing to my own definitions, which I believe that would have more utility than your definitions.
What's the definition of a? What's the definition of a woman?
You can say
a woman.
that it has,
I'm gonna state a woman's gonna be an adult female.
Yeah. But you can say that it has more like quote unquote utility, but that doesn't make our definition wrong.
Yeah, it doesn't make it, but in this debate, it makes my definition stronger. Therefore, we're gonna go by my definition.
But by refusing
to
use other definitions, that's where Stoitsky said that you
but I could also
using an appeal to definition, because our definition can
one at a time, please.
Our definition can include adult human female as well, but it also has the other inclusion of trans people.
So yeah, then you're just making a cherry pick, and this is a fallacy in itself. You're basically cherry picking. You're saying, we can use this for cis people, but we can't use it for transgender people.
I'm fine.
No,
I'm
you're
confused.
using the one
cherry picking
definition.
by definition.
That would be you cherry picking.
Yeah, hi.
This is
Can
cherry
I
picking right
talk
here.
to period?
Yeah, you can talk to me. What's up?
No, I'm like asking the host because.
Yeah,
like,
feel free.
My bad.
Okay. Yeah. So, what is your definition of a woman that you think holds more utility?
Yes, I would uphold to the definition of a woman being an adult female.
An adult female. So, adult female cats can be women. Adult female dogs can be women. Therefore,
No, but you have to specify. If you really wanted to go through this way, you have to ask me what I specify a female to be, which you haven't. Therefore, you're just making a bunch of assumptions of what I believe a female is.
So it was
Therefore, you committed a fallacy.
No. I'm literally asking you. That was like a question. I know that you don't really like know what a question is, so let me just like state my question. Can like an adult female cat be a woman, an adult female dog be a woman? Question mark is implied at the end of that sentence.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
so no,
and
it wouldn't
answer.
be like that. No.
Okay, so then what would you take a adult female to be? Can you specify that?
So
Do you see
yeah,
how
a
that
female
works?
would be a person who denotes the reproduction of large gametes.
Yeah, so it's actually gametes, first of all, idiot.
Yeah, I don't know why you're doing ad hominems. Of course, I can't pronounce it. I have a lisp. But yeah,
No,
keep
hold
going.
on.
Yeah,
hold on. I am pretty
I
sure
have a
there.
list.
Wait, go ahead and make fun of disabilities. Go ahead and
Yeah,
make
I
fun
also
of
have a
disabilities.
list.
That's cool.
I also have a list when I'm autistic.
Wait, that's cool though.
so-
Wait, host, that's cool though, right? Go ahead and make fun of disabilities. Okay.
No. So here's the thing. I'm just gonna correct you. That wasn't an ad hom. That was just simply personal insult.
No. She called. Yeah. It's an ad hominem.
Yeah, she has an argument. So
made
an
fun
ad
of
hom
disabilities.
is in
So, okay.
place. Is in place of an argument. This was just calling you stupid. That is just a
Yeah, which is
personal insult.
no. Which she stated. She went.
Which, by the way,
me instead of attacking the argument, right? So this is where it's an ad hominem.
Yeah, it has to be in
okay.
place of an argument, though.
Yeah, this is where she
so-
attacked me. This is therefore.
Oh
it's
my
in place
god!
of-
Oh my god! Oh my
Keep
god!
going. Keep going.
Shut up! Shut up!
Keep going.
Okay.
Make fun of disabilities. Keep going.
Yeah, sure. I'll make fun of disabilities. I have a lisp too, so I don't really.
It doesn't
don't
matter
get
if you
it.
have it. I don't care if you have it. It doesn't justify you making fun of me.
You're
Like what?
chopped. You're chopped, Luckin. Okay, so
Yeah, there we go. Once
restate-
host,
yeah,
are we seriously gonna let this? I mean, like, I haven't even
Yeah,
disrespected
oh
her
my
in any
God.
way, but somehow
you're
she can disrespect me.
You're dodging.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, can you restate your specification of like what that is, please? What that term is?
Yeah, it's gonna denote the reproduction of large gametes.
Okay, so denote? What is the definition of a denote?
Indicating.
So if somebody indicates female, does that make them female?
If somebody indicates the reproduction of large gametes, it makes them female. So you're
That's
not
not
even
what I-
understanding my
that's not-
definition.
that's
You're
not
low
what
IQ.
I asked you a question. If somebody indicates
Yeah, but
female,
this is
then are
the
they
stupidest
female?
question that I've heard in my life. But keep going.
Okay, so then go ahead and answer it.
And I did answer it. So keep
It was a
going.
yes.
No, that's not what I said.
Okay, I asked you.
Are you not tracking?
No, you are not tracking. If somebody indicates female, then are they female? Yes or no?
No, they have to indicate the reproduction of large gametes. Once again,
how
you're
does
not checking
somebody-
my definition.
So how does somebody indicate the production of like gametes?
Yeah, what? Can you repeat that? Your mic cut off.
How does somebody indicate the production of large gametes?
Yeah, so it's gonna be depending on the Müllerian or Wolffian pathway.
Yeah, what consists of the Müllerian pathway?
Well, it just consists Müllerian, so we're gonna have to say, I guess, ovaries, fallopian tubes, the VV. You've got the estrogen being produced from the hypothalamus. I don't know. It's gonna be a bunch of other organs involved.
Yeah,
in
so
it.
the only thing that can like be a part of the Müllerian pathway, by the way, it's not estrogen. It'll just be the uterus, fallopian tube, cervix, and upper 2/3 of the vagina.
Yeah, this is just an
and the upper
accidental.
limb.
The estrogen is gonna be an accidental side effect of like the Müllerian
Actually, no,
pathway.
that is
Yeah,
actually incorrect. But yeah,
That's
you
gotta
know
be
what?
correct.
Yeah,
No, definitely
it's not.
it's gonna be an accidental.
Okay, go ahead and find me a source that states that like it's an accidental.
Yeah, I mean, I can go ahead and do that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'll wait. PMID, please. .gov.edu. We'll give you a minute. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm not so
Are
sure.
you guys enjoying the silence? By the way.
It is quite nice.
Faye, I love how well you are at portraying words and speaking.
Yeah,
It's
I don't
good.
know. Like these people think that they're like the shit spewing like transphobic rhetoric or like saying that like a woman is nothing more than her biology, which I think is absolutely fucking disgusting. And they don't know how to back up their arguments, and I can like put belt to ass within like 2 seconds.
He said that he was gonna question the fact that the woman was a woman, despite the fact that I said she was a tall woman. And then I wanted to check his consistency, and I asked him if she was a woman if she was black, and he said no. I'd still check.
What happened to Faye? Oh, there you are. Sorry.
I don't know.
Raptured.
Yeah, that actually that almost pissed me off. I'm not gonna lie.
I want
Oh, were you here for that?
No, me getting removed from the live. That almost like made me so mad. I'm not gonna lie.
I want to give
can
the
you find the source,
opportunity
or are you looking for your mammalian pathway for it? Like, hello? Go ahead, Change.
Hello, I'm looking for the source right now. Hello?
Change, go ahead. I'm sorry, I did not mean to interrupt you. Like, this is
No,
pissing
you're
me off.
fine.
We can find a source really fast.
No, and I want to, I don't want to interrupt the conversation because I want to hear their response. After that response to the original conversation, my follow-up question, I would love to hear, okay, like, how does this actually, what does this have to do with supporting trans people and gender affirming care? And like, why would that keep us from supporting trans people and effective healthcare?
Yeah, I don't know. This person wanted to like, I was just scrolling through lives, and this person was like spouting some bullshit. So I needed to like put belt to ass, and then you can get back to the topic.
That question is directed at like period person. I don't know how to properly like.
Well, he doesn't support gender affirming care or trans people, and he also doesn't think like trans women are women, trans men are men. So
Yeah, I just see a reason why we shouldn't. Like that's kind of the problem I think that you're trying to bring up is that like this is just saying, oh well, if they're not women, cool,
Right.
but that doesn't mean that we shouldn't still give them gender affirming care and support them as individuals.
Right.
Croc,
so
you're
I'm
so
gonna-
obsessed with me. Oh my god, Croc, you're so fucking obsessed with me. Like, take a chill pill. Like, my link is in my bio. You do not have to wait any longer.
I'm a gender affirming gender affirming care provider, and I train mental health and healthcare clinicians on gender affirming care. And I feel like we have some tough conversations as I'm training clinicians and providers to provide gender affirming care. But these aren't the kind of tough questions or conversations that we're having because none of this is actually relevant to whether or not we would be providing gender affirming care or supporting human beings in general. And so I'm interested to hear from whoever.
Yeah.
Period. When you're unmuted, I would love to know what you want to be referred to by. But would really like to understand what's the basis.
Yeah, I'm back.
Yeah, where's that PMID?
Yeah, so you don't actually need a source for this. This is pretty easy.
Okay,
It's common
goodbye.
biology.
Thank you for the concession.
What concession? So yeah, it's gonna be CYP19A1 gene, which is typically seen in the what's it called?
So I asked
not actually
you-
called the
I
mammalian pathway. It's gonna be
asked
called
you-
the
I asked you-
Armoteus
no, I
pathway. That's gonna be the pathway.
You have to
that's,
provide the source,
that is
though.
the
You need a
ovarian pathway.
positive claim.
Yeah, I don't need a.
claim,
You don't
and I
need
asked
a. I
you
mean, I
for
can
a
bring you up a
source.
source where it shows us that the.
You need to provide the
CYP
source.
gene
When
is-
you
yeah, I
provide
can
a
provide
positive
for that,
claim, you need to
100%.
provide the source. So provide the
Yeah,
PMB,
I
the
can
source.
provide for that. Here we go. We're gonna do it together. CYP.
No, I need you to provide me a source, and I'm going to go ahead and look at that source that claims that estrogen is an accidental factor of the mammalian pathway.
A1 gene.
No, provide the source.
the PMID.
NPID code, author,
Like for an org.
that kind of thing.
Hold on.
We're not doing the research for you.
NHS. Here we are.
Yeah, so if you can't find me a PMID, you can concede, and then we can move on
No,
with
just
the
about
next
this.
part of the debate.
While he's doing that, I wanted to answer the you can't answer question. Are men and women
What
the
was the
same?
question you want me to answer?
Yeah, nobody's talking to you until you find me that PMID.
Oh my god, because I thought she was talking to me.
No, I
Oh
actually
yeah,
wasn't
no,
talking to
she
you.
wasn't.
I wasn't
talking
talking to you. I'm actually not talking to you on purpose because I want to allow that conversation to finish. I was talking to You Can't Answer, who was asking, are men and women the same? Also, why are doctors being sued? Men and women are not the same, and doctors are being sued for literally everything that you could possibly think of.
I think we would agree though too that like some of them are being sued for good reasons because of malpractice. Like good people can make mistakes and do things like that. But like I would say that a vast majority of the time this isn't what's happening. So
And also, our wonderful president has got caught. The e-files have been like unredacted, and yeah, it turns out that he was being very intimately involved in child sex rings. By the way.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, people can be sued for anything. It's just whether or not like our case is being won. And so there are a lot of times where I'm in mental health care, right? And so the research shows that we need to be providing gender affirming care because it's the most effective and evidence-based form of healthcare. And for therapy specifically, the number one predictor for what effective therapy is a relationship between the client and the provider. And so, for example, if I am working with a client who is using pronouns that other family members don't agree with, I could be sued by the family for using the pronouns that my client wants me to use. But just because I'm sued doesn't mean that I'm doing anything wrong or illegal. Otherwise, I would be losing my license and that would be actually going through to fruition. So why are people
what's the proof to that you can be sued for using the pronouns?
Oh my god, shut up and stop pivoting. Find me that
Wait, what?
Find me that source.
You still have to provide a source, friend.
Yeah, so my source is gonna be CYP1.
No, you said that shit already. I want a PMID.
Medicalplus.gov.
Yeah,
so, I don't know if
medicalplus.gov. There has to be a library number attached to it.
It does. So C1P19A1. And then search up medalineplus.gov, and it shows us what the CYP gene does, which is typically seen in people with but not all the time seen with the Müllerian pathway, which is going to indicate the fact is that it is not required to be in the Müllerian pathway.
So that means that it's not like set in stone and cannot be objectively true. That can consistently be an accidental outcome of the Müllerian pathway.
So I mean, if it's not seen in every single case, it should be an accidental. What's it called?
Okay, yeah,
it's not required for a person to be in the Müllerian pathway. Therefore, it should be accidental by definition.
So what's that?
It's not required.
Again? What's that library number again?
It's not a library number. It's the actual gene name. I don't think you understand how genes work.
What is the fucking library number? Holy shit!
It's not the library number. It's the gene name. The gene name is going to be CYP19A1.
Yeah.
So that gene isn't seen in every single female. It's also seen in male, but not in every single male. Therefore, it's going to be an accidental factor, which is the gene is the.
Oh my god! Okay, can somebody mute this person while I dissect this?
Why?
This also just has nothing to do with like the prompts. Like, how does this?
She asked me for that. She asked me for that. It wasn't.
Hold on, somebody mute this person.
I gotta ask for this question. I don't know how it's my fault now.
If somebody wants to like. Or he can
so as I was saying, I mean, I would uphold it to be...
Period, shut up.
I'd uphold it to be...
Period, shut up.
I would uphold the woman.
Okay, thank you so much. Oh my god, I don't know why I took that long. Okay, so the CYP19A gene provides instructions for making an enzyme called aromatase. This enzyme covers a class of hormones called androgens, which are involved in male sexual development to different forms of female sex hormone estrogen. So it is involved in both males and females. So it's not completely not.
And I've stated that it's also
I'm literally done with my sentence. Shut your bitch ass the fuck up. You have a fucked up haircut. Shut up.
Imagine being able to.
Somebody has anger issues, man. Maybe it's the testosterone getting to him. This is why it's harmful.
You know what else? Yeah, shut up.
Okay, now we know why it's harmful for people, huh?
Okay, so this is not something that can be used.
It can be used because so wait, can you show me human beings who can you show me proof that every human being is gonna have this CYP19A1 gene?
Yeah,
I don't
so
think so.
no,
Therefore,
I'm
it's
not
an
gonna.
accidental thing. So yeah,
Hey,
therefore
by
it's
the way, I'm not
100%
even
right.
gonna allow that as a burden shift. So I'm gonna
Yeah,
reject
I'm
that
not burden
burden shift.
shifting anything. You've stated that it's not, and I've already given you proof that it is because it's not available in every single human being, and it's not important. I mean, it's not required for a human to be alive. Therefore, it's going to be an accidental factor. Anything that's not
Okay, so
required is going to be
accidental
accidental.
factor cannot be really used when we're discussing the Mullerian pathway. So let's just get back to the Mullerian
Well, it
pathway.
definitely can.
Yeah,
Definitely
I'm
can. And it's
I'm
not even
not
called the
gonna allow
Mullerian
the
pathway,
burden
too.
shift. Oh my god, I'm not gonna allow the burden shift. Anyways.
Yeah, so like I'm stating, it's going to be the
Oh my
notion
God,
to reproduction
James,
of
I got
gametes.
this.
What a female
James,
is.
I got this. I need my ones. Okay, so when we're talking about the Mullerian pathway, right, that's just going to be the uterus, the fallopian tubes, the cervix, ova, the vagina, well, upper 2/3 of the vagina. So unfortunately, yeah, that's hella funny actually. So unfortunately. So, if somebody does not have the Mullerian pathway, they would not be denoting for the production of large gametes because we know that estrogen isn't necessary to be a woman or a man.
Wait, can you give me?
Stop! Shut the fuck up! I'm not even done.
Can you give me a second real quick? I'm just gonna pull up my document. Give me 2 seconds.
Yeah, so we know that like chromosomes aren't like necessary to be like a male or a female. We know that estrogen isn't necessary to be a male or a female as well. And yeah, so those can't also be used as like an indicator, right? So I'm just gonna go ahead and like give you a case. Where somebody has like the absence of all Mullerian pathway. And then, yeah, I'll take the dub.
Second, I'm just gonna pull up my document substantiate further. It seems like you're really happy just that you've said basically nothing.
Yeah, what's
actually said a lot. Yeah, P2 is appeal to stupidity. No, the P2 is appeal to teacup fallacy.
Oof.
I would say P2 is the appeal to definition fallacy.
Wait, hold on. I've got it right here, I think. Okay.
It's so low tier.
Yeah, so yeah,
Good
here I finally
tactical.
got my whole document.
You should just make it smaller and put it under follower goal. There we go.
Well, I mean, I wasn't the one that stated that. I'm just stating that I don't believe human or woman, so therefore I don't believe that they should get it from
That's some
care.
bullshit.
I don't know.
CYP19A1.
Well, actually, this actually just doesn't follow. Aren't woman. And that like P2. What is P2?
P2 is gonna be that a female is gonna be an organism that has the pathway orientation oriented around.
No, okay, so that's a concession.
Yeah,
'cause now
but
you're
that
fucking
doesn't
shifting
lead to the
goalpost.
conclusion that
No, hold
we
on,
shouldn't
host,
support trans people and gender affirming care.
Yeah, I mean, we should
Host,
support it because they're not real
host,
people. They're not
host.
real women. I don't get it.
Okay, period.
How did
Shut
I
the fuck up. Period.
conclude
Shut up.
anything?
Period.
Yeah, why
shut
you
up.
seem pretty mad, Faye? I
I'm
feel like
not
you
mad
have some
because you're always
parental
talking.
problems
Like,
going on
I
at your
hate
house.
when men open their
Why have
mouths
you-
and think that they say something. Yeah, so
Why
he
am I
actually
getting
like
muted
kind
when I'm
of
getting
completely
suspected? I was
changed his. Okay,
confused.
can somebody like continue to mute it?
I'm confused. Why am I getting muted even though he's being disrespectful?
Yeah, so who's a he? Thank you. So that's like.
I don't care. Yeah, you're a he. By definition, you're a he.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Well,
like,
actually, hold on. This is against TikTok terms of service to misgender individuals, so I will just drop you for that if you don't respect people's pronouns.
Okay,
This is
so
part
yeah, I
of
mean,
the
this literally goes
community
against my
guidelines.
religion. What do you mean?
Yeah,
so-
I don't care if it's against
Real-
religion. This is part of the community guidelines.
Okay, but really
You-
fast, host, really fast. I'm gonna say, this individual. Ooh, is he gone?
Oh,
I mean, quiet, so.
He's gone.
Yeah, so that was like the easiest debate that I ever did. So, obviously, like when people reference the Mullerian pathway, number one, nobody can ever find me a source where the words Mullerian and pathway are referenced in any sort of biomed journal, any medical journal, any peer-reviewed study or anything like that. Mullerian pathway does not consist of anything whatsoever with estrogen because we know that like people can have like an influx of estrogen, influx of testosterone, whether it be male or female. The Mullerian pathway solely persists of the cervix, the uterus, the fallopian tubes, the ova, and the upper 2/3 of the vagina. There's this source where it states that this individual has the absence of all of these things, right? Which is the absence of like the upper 2/3 of the vagina, the uterus, the fallopian tubes, the ovaries, the cervix. They only have a 1 centimeter vaginal pouch, so this does not lead anywhere. So that cannot be a determination on whether or not this individual like denotes to their production of large gametes. By the way, denotes is not even a fucking word that should be used, by the way.
You're talking about vaginal agenesis, right?
No, I'm talking about MRKH in conjunction with gonadal.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah, and also, we can also bring up that the fact that some males can actually denote to the production of large gametes with the Müllerian pathway. Because guess what, guys? There is this thing called persistent Müllerian duct syndrome, which means a male can have fucking fallopian tubes and a uterus and a cervix. These people are fucking idiots. Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, I still don't understand, like, even the points, they still don't answer the question why would that lead to someone not supporting a group of human beings and not supporting an evidence-based practice? It's still not connecting for me, but I mean, he's gone, so.
Yeah, I mean, I put belt to ass on that dude like already, like 2 other times, but I don't want him to like come up on this fight, like come on other panels and spew rhetoric. So I have to like come in, you know, I guess kind of put it to him like his dad never did, and then move on with my day.
I don't think I've ever met you.
Like
Faye.
his dad
Hi.
never did is diabolical.
Yeah, I'm not regurgitating anyone's talking points. That doesn't follow Crocodile. You're obsessed, okay? You're like
I'd say
actually.
GCs do that.
Why is like every like uneducated white man obsessed with me? That's like insane.
I'm not obsessed with
Like,
you. I'm an uneducated white man.
girl, I'm gonna be so real. I just now like even realized that you had your face on your live because you're so small.
Hi, Keaton.
Everyone put L Crocodile in the comments. Anyways, have a wonderful day, guys.
You too.
Wait,
Have a good
Faye,
one.
Faye. Before you... Oh, god damn it.
Rapture.
I was about to ask the question. Right when I wanted that question, it was like, wait, don't leave me.
If nobody is on, I don't know if Solid is on to like oppose, but I did want to address some discord in the comments around like the lawsuits and stuff like that. And I think that Stotsky, you also spoke to, you know, there are physicians who are going to be sued, and the lawsuits are warranted, and that's across all medicine. You know, there are physicians, my partner is a physician as well. You know, there are plenty of people in the medical field who are doing things incorrectly. People can be sued for gender affirming medical care by the people who want it desperately because it was a botched situation, right? People are sued for cancer treatment because it was not done correctly, right? So like it's the argument that there are physicians that are being sued for gender affirming medical care, it just lacks any depth there. Like we would actually really have to talk on a case by case basis. And then we can also talk about the aspects of, especially in this administration, there were laws that were enacted that completely changed what is federally legal for gender affirming care as well. And as physicians or providers, we're having to contest with the fact that our ethics, our code of ethics, and what we know about medicine and what is being put into law are directly opposing to each other. And you know, you either have to choose between, do I potentially lose my license, lose my job, get a lawsuit, be put in jail, or do I provide best practice medical care?
Hey, Change, I'm totally opposition here. I'm not a moderator for Stotsky or anything, you know, I'm totally opposition to answer your question.
Yeah, he's not here like a parasite. No, I'm kidding.
Wow.
No, you're always here, and I appreciate you being here. You're wonderful.
Yeah, I know. Also, Bob, I know Bob is opposition. Wait, we were on Bob's live at one point together, weren't we?
Were we?
Wait, what?
Yes, because if you remember, it was quite a bit back, and if you remember, there was that kid who said that he'd ordered testosterone for himself online to increase his testosterone and stuff. If you remember, and then they also said because I was 19 that my opinion was invalid because I'm too young to understand things at 19.
That was such a silly conversation.
Yeah, but do you remember that? 'Cause
I remember having to say like, "Hey, let's not talk about ordering like medical grade goods from like some random online store. Like that's just a terrible idea."
Yeah, I agree, but that was Bop's Live. I remember it.
Anyways, Bob, what's
Yeah,
your agent?
wait.
Can I get your agent pronouns, please?
Yeah, I got you. Just for pronouns, just go for any, and 25.
Okay. Thoughts on the prompt?
It says, I support transgender people and gender affirming care. What would it take for you to agree? Honestly, I don't really have no say or speak about gender affirming care because I personally just don't care about it. But what do you mean by like support?
Yeah.
Like, what do you say support for transgender people? Like, what do you mean by support?
Just treat them as humans. Be supportive of their
No,
identity.
well, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like when you say support, like what do you classify, what you support? Like, are you saying like support them in their daily life, what they do? Like, I'm asking you like for more like clarification.
Yeah, like I don't have any like trans friends in my life, but like if I did, I would definitely like if they needed help for something, like they're just people. Like you should just treat them as other people and support them. Like this is just like basic human decency, I would say. In terms of like also like I run these debates. I say, hey, this is something that's completely normal and that should just be accepted, despite the crazy amounts of people that just have no like I just reasons to. Oh, thanks TikTok, love you. It wasn't like I'm actively speaking right then.
Okay, I get what you're saying by stuff that view. Like if you're saying like you're supporting them and their stuff and supporting who they are as a person, I can understand that.
Yeah, like it's not like I'm going out like I don't have like financial money to like donate. Like I would donate to causes like that support transgender individuals and support the fight for.
Oh, okay.
I would say not even like equal rights, but like just because like under the law, like technically most transgender people have like most of the same protections. It's just it's more that's needed of like trying to fight back against bigotry and make it something that's a protected attribute at that point.
I get what you're saying. Yeah, that does make a lot of sense in life and all that. I wouldn't say I would support the community. I'll say like I can respect them as people because like I know a lot of people can be looked at as other things, but I respect them as people 100%. Like I don't mind dabbing them up or going to the movies or stuff like that or sports and stuff. But I think where it draws the line with the support thing is I don't support everything they're doing, correct? Like I'm not going to support like everything they're doing, right? Especially going into female spaces. I wouldn't support that 100%. But other than that, nah. Or also staying away from our kids too. Those two things. I think female spaces, kids, and I don't really care about male spaces too much. Well, I do. Well, there are kids that go in male spaces. Let me rephrase that. Yes. Just stay out of spaces, and I don't know, personally, I think that's pretty much it. I don't really care about nothing else, truthfully, so I don't care what they do. I don't care if they go outside. I don't care if they want to be a tree. I'm not going to sit there and stop them, be like, hey, you shouldn't be a tree. I'm going to just keep, get in my car, driving past.
Yeah.
What about a trans person who's a parent? They can't really just stay away from the kid if they have to care for them.
Well, what do you mean by care for the kids? Because that sounded kind of weird coming. What you mean by care? Like, what are you trying to care for? What?
Parent, they have to care for them. I said
Okay.
if the trans person was a parent, they can't stay away from the kids because they have to care for them.
Oh, I don't care about their kids. I'm not talking about their kids. Like personally, if they got their own kids and stuff, that's their own business. Me personally, I don't really care about like what they do with their kids. Personally.
Can you explain what you mean by stay away from the kids?
So what I mean by stay away from the kids, I feel like trans shouldn't be taught in schools. That's one of the big things that's been going on social media. I think what's her name, Miss Rachel, she had this trans woman or trans individual. They came on to like the stream and stuff. It's just a lot of things that I'm not really too fond of with the trans community. I understand like if you guys want to, you know, learn and educate, but I don't believe it should be taught in schools. I don't believe trans ideology. I don't believe anything that's trans related should be taught in schools. I think that should be like out of school. I don't even think LGBT should be taught. Well, LGB is based off sexuality, so I disagree. Matter of fact, I disagree with what I said. LGB is based off sexuality, so I don't mind that being taught in schools. They like probably do high school, but anything trans related, gender identities and stuff like that, nah. I don't see that's a good reason to really teach people.
So when you mean taught, are you, because I don't mean to get in the weeds, but like the way that we learn is so multidimensional. Do you mean like learn what the word transgender means?
Oh no, I don't mind them learning what the word transgender is, but I want my child, like, because you know I used to be a stepdad, but I do want my kids, if I ever get kids, I want them to go to school learning about like the genders, about SMACs. I want them to actually learn that it's two genders and the two SMACs. You can't change the SMACs. I want them to learn about biology. I want them to get like an understanding, a grasp about life. I don't want them thinking that it's more than like, you know, 2-3 genders out there in the world when generally speaking, there's not.
Well,
I think in terms of.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Funny.
You.
I think in terms of education, because it's the same thing in healthcare, right? We're really taught that that we and let me go specific in educational institution. The goal of educational institutions is to give information as opposed to impose beliefs, right? And so that's why I clarified, like, is teaching what the word transgender mean, is that what you mean? So the role of an educational institution would be to give like the definitions of things and teach them about things that exist in the world, not to tell people what's right or wrong. So when you say we should be taught that there's only 2 genders, that would be a belief. And educational institutions are not supposed to be instilling beliefs. They should really be instilling, hey, here is the breadth of what you might find in the world, just so that you are aware of what it is in the world that you're going to be interacting with. And then, you know, it's up to you as human beings and families to be able to have conversations around like what is, in the same way of religious belief, what is your belief around it?
Yeah, but the difference between a religious belief and a trans ideology is 2 different things. Religious belief is like talking about, like, I don't have a problem with like kids learning about religion and stuff. I know some religions are not the best. I know a lot of people don't like religion. I don't have an issue with like people learning about Christianity, for example. You know, that's one of my favorite religions. I don't mind people like learning and, you know, educating themselves. It's not really doing no harm. See, the problem that I have here though is like, well, I can get what you're saying, but I don't get what you're saying. Like, I don't get the mindset to teach trans in school, because what does they learn about gender identities? Like, I don't want them learning about that. It's not getting them basis and understand pronouns and stuff. Like, yeah, that's normal. Like learning that he, she, they, and all that. That's just normal. But other than that, nah, I wouldn't see no like benefits in teaching kids in school about the trans thing, the trans identity, gender identity. When it's like, I'm not even trying to be rude, but it's truth, to be honest with you, was look more like a, you know, mental illness. That'd be aspect, if you want me to be truthfully honest.
Yeah, and I can speak to that because that, as a licensed therapist, I can tell you that it's not, and I'm happy to talk about that as well.
You said you were a licensed therapist. You said you were a licensed therapist.
I am, yeah.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. What do you like? So let me just get this back. Do you believe all trans people must have gender dysphoria to be classified as trans?
I don't know that I believe that anyone does anything. I think that anything with all is probably incorrect on some level. But I do, in order to get gender affirming medical care, get a referral, you do have to have a diagnosis of gender dysphoria in your medical chart, and that's like a part of the gatekeeping process. Is that there has to be a mental health physician with our current system in America. There has to be a mental health care physician that's providing the referral or letter of support or whatever that includes a diagnosis of gender dysphoria in the chart in order to get gender-affirming medical
Okay,
care.
okay,
because
okay,
that would
okay,
be
okay, okay, okay.
a medically necessary intervention for a
All
disorder.
right,
That
perfect.
disorder would
So
be
you don't believe that all trans people have gender dysphoria?
no.
So if a trans
I
individual don't
mean,
have gender dysphoria, would they
in terms of a so are you talking about gender dysphoria as a symptom or as a disorder? Because it's a disorder in the
be a
DSM.
disorder?
No.
But I'm asking what I'm asking with the gender dysphoria thing. I'm asking like if a trans individual don't have gender dysphoria, would they be classified as trans, or would they still be looked at or accepted as a part of the trans community if they don't have gender dysphoria?
So a gender affirming medical care, for example, would be the treatment of gender dysphoria. So if someone's experiencing gender dysphoria, the medically necessary intervention for that would be a medical intervention. In some cases, sometimes they're social changes, or it can be done without medical transitioning at all. But transitioning itself would be the evidence-based practice for the treatment of gender dysphoria.
See, but that's the thing I have, right? I understand what you're saying, but the thing I have is if people don't need to have gender dysphoria to be trans, or don't need to have that process, that just make a possibility open for anybody to become trans, basically, in society.
I mean, there's a lot of things where people can be anything.
Yeah, I would also hold that like this is something that's like cisgender individuals are just not going to be trans. Like they're just this is
You said
based off of-
cisgender.
yeah, cisgender individuals are not going to be trans.
Yeah,
Like, they
what is
don't-
cisgender?
Yeah, it means to be on the same side of. It's the opposite. It's to have a gender identity that is identical or that is aligned with the sex that you're assigned at birth.
And how did the word cis become like a label? Is that like a label that you guys like giving people, or that's something that everybody been called, or like what would you like define cis? Like, would you say like cis man or cis woman, or like?
Like I identify as a cis woman, but it's just like any other word that is you know.
I'm just a man. I don't really go by the term cis. I think that label is just used to try to keep a equal footing.
It's an adjective
With the trans community.
Well,
it's an adjective that's not really.
What
I think
like
just
I never
any
heard.
word, it's an aid in communication. So we're all trying to do our best to kind of get on the same page. So anytime that I'm using any words to communicate with you, my intention of that is to be able to get my thoughts that are in my head to be able to be deciphered by you in some way. And so all communication is not going to be 100% effective. Nobody's going to understand 100% like what it is that's in my head. But just like any word, we create words if we need to
We create
be able
words.
to if we need to be able to communicate ideas to each other.
So
Yeah. So just to clarify, you call yourself a cis woman, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
I also, if somebody asked me like, "Hey, who are you?" I would probably just be like, "I'm Jordan." Like that's just one of my identity aspects.
Can I
One
just
of
add
your
something
identity.
as well, Jordan?
Okay.
Yeah, when it comes to the cis and trans thing, it's just like saying, like you can refer to them both as just women, or you can also differentiate. It's kind of like coffee. Oh, I'm just going to get a coffee. What kind of coffee? Decaf, caffeinated or decaffeinated. The point is, they're still both coffee, but we still use an adjective to describe it beforehand if someone prompts you about what kind you're going for. In the same sense as if you're referring to like a group of women, you can ask for clarification on if they're cis or trans. That's the point of the adjective being there.
Yeah, but that's the problem though. The issue I have there is like I don't recall. Like I feel like if you guys call someone cis, it's kind of offensive because it's like no one's going around calling somebody a cis man or cis woman in society. We're mostly being called man or woman. That's like the standard. That's like the the name that we generally. If you want to call yourself a cis woman or a cis man, I don't have an issue with that because that's what you labeling yourself. That's what you're identifying yourself as. But for me, I'll just be looked at as just a man. That's pretty much it.
So
True, but then I can also equivalate.
But I
that
wouldn't put the
to-
label for an cis. I wouldn't call myself a cis man because I feel like to me I wouldn't call myself
Yeah,
that.
that's exactly my point. We just say coffee. We only distinguish between the types when prompted about it. Same thing can go for cis and trans women. You can just say women in most situations. But
Yeah.
when you're specifically talking on the topic,
Yeah,
you
we
can
can say
use
woman in
trans
most
or cis to
situations, but
distinguish between them.
yeah, I get what you're saying. We can say woman in most situations, like most situations people gonna call woman, but well, I wouldn't say most. I say all situations. I don't really never like. I'm just speaking from like a perspective view. I never really going outside and hear someone or come somebody be like, oh, you're a cis man. People just be like, you're a man, or they'll say, ask me for my name. Don't really go into. I think it's just like this TikTok thing. I got like this obsession with it, but
Yeah,
I
I don't
don't
think
know.
anyone's arguing that like you should be calling yourself a cis man all of the time. I don't think that there's any problem with that.
Yeah, but then there's another problem that I have too is if the trans community, let's say you guys identify yourself as trans woman, correct? Why do you guys go around calling yourself the word woman if those two are different in multiple different ways?
As I explained, it's the same as caffeinated and
No, it's not the
decaffeinated
same.
coffee. Well, it is because they're
Okay.
both subcategories of coffee. They're both types of coffee.
No,
It's
that's not
just an
top coffee.
It's just an adjective beforehand. The adjective
Mm.
describes the noun. It doesn't change the noun itself.
Okay,
It
so
describes
hold on,
the
hold
type of
on
noun.
real quick. Hold on. So let me get this straight. You saying that a woman and trans woman is the same thing, correct?
I'm saying they're both women. I'm not saying it's the exact
No,
same.
I'm
the
asking
same
you.
as
Are you saying
caffeinated and
the word?
decaffeinated.
Okay, hold on. Listen, let me explain this real quick. Are you saying the word trans woman and the word woman is the same exact thing?
No, trans woman isn't one word; it's two words constructed of an adjective.
Yeah, but
and
I'm asking
noun.
you, is it the
My
same thing?
point
It's the same
is,
word, and that's the word woman.
the noun is the same. The adjective isn't. The adjective
Sorry.
describes the type of woman. This
Okay,
is
so
my
what type of woman is a
Clarify.
trans woman?
Can I clarify? I want to make sure that I'm understanding correctly, Bob. Or is your concern, your issue is with trans women calling them women?
No, see, yes, it's my issue with
Is
them
that what
calling
it?
themselves woman, but I'm trying to figure out if they identify as trans woman and they call themselves woman. I'm trying to figure out is they the same word? I'm trying to get like a understanding. Do you guys think those are the same word? Do you think the word trans woman and woman are like the same exact word, right?
I don't
Like for
think
example, trans
cis
man and man.
woman.
Do y'all believe that the word man and trans man is the same exact word completely, like the
The
same
thing is, you're
definitions?
saying the word as if you're talking about a one word and a word that's comparable to it. You're not, though. You're adding an adjective before the noun. The word man is
I
still the same
understand
in
what I'm
both of
doing
those.
though, but that's the whole
Yes.
point though. Because when I
It's
see these panels and TikToks lives, and I see trans women calling themselves woman, I'm sitting here confused. Like, are you calling yourself a
Right.
trans woman?
Okay. I'm gonna give you another thing, right? Say
Yeah, what's
there's a
up?
tall woman. It's a tall woman and a woman, the same thing.
No, the only difference is a woman is tall.
That's the
Right.
point. The only difference
So
is
what
the
is a
woman is
trans woman then?
trans. This is my point. The
Yeah,
only
but I'm
difference
asking
is
you.
that
But
the
hold on,
woman
hold
is
on. You're not
trans.
understanding something. What is a trans woman? Right? If they're a different
Yes.
type of woman, what is a trans woman?
So yeah, trans
A
woman
tall
would
woman
be.
is a
Hold on,
different
Stoic.
type
Hold on,
of
Stoic.
woman.
What is a trans woman, Solid?
A trans woman is a woman whose gender identity is incongruent with the sex assigned at birth.
Is that the definition of trans woman?
Yeah, that's what
Well,
it
that'd
means
be
to
the
be
definition of
transgender.
trans in that context. That would be
Yeah.
the definition of transgender, which would mean that their gender identity is incongruent with their sex and they're a woman. Hence, you would be able to go,
Okay,
oh, they
so if
were
that's the
assigned
definition
male
for
at
trans
birth.
woman, then what's the definition for woman?
Yeah, so there's a number of ways that you could say that. You could say
Well, hold on, Stoic. I'm asking Solid.
okay.
So what is the definition of woman? Solid.
A woman is a person whose gender identity is in alignment with the female sex.
Okay, so how you be aligned with the female sex? What the gender identity is? Like, what is it? Like, how do
I
you
don't know
align with
that
the female sex?
I don't know that I think that I think that
Wait,
there are
hold on, real quick. Solid. How does you said they align with the female sex? Can you elaborate that
Well,
more?
yeah, because they'd have a biopsychosocial schema of that of the typical female.
Okay, and keep going. Typical female or what?
What do you mean the typical female?
You said the
That is-
typical female. They said the schema. So I'm asking you, like, what is the schema? Like, what you mean by the typical female?
Do you not? Is my definition?
Oh my God. Listen to me. Listen to me. I'm going to explain this to you real quick. So when I'm asking you, what do you mean by the typical female? Because you use the word typical female, right? In your definition of the word woman. So I'm asking you, what do you mean by the typical female? Like, what is it? Like, what's your definition of typical, or what you're trying to elaborate with female? Because your definition don't align at all with the definition that is currently is in the dictionary and what is known all over social media, right? You're going all based off your definition, which you believe a woman is, right?
Yeah, but see, if you go based off of just a singular definition, that would then be the appeal to definition fallacy.
No, it wouldn't. No, I disagree. Because
Do you mind if I respond though? Because I do think so. I think that and this is from a psychological perspective, right? This is in my professional opinion, that there is a difference between the brain and the mind, right? There's a lot that is going on in the mind that cannot be traced to the brain, and I make that comparison because our mind is where our identities live. Right. So to be woman is a identity in function. And then the word female is like a biological sex characteristic.
yeah, I understand that, but to be a woman, you say to be an identity.
The definition of woman would be based on identity, which is largely, not entirely, but largely a social construct itself. But a lot of like the biggest difference between us as human beings and animals is the ability to have like an inner identity and have a robust sense of self, and it's in that sense of self that the definition of woman lies, and that would be the difference between the definition of woman versus the definition of female.
Okay, you confused yourself because you're not really going down the right route, because you said that it's based off identity. So someone that identified themselves as a woman, based off your standard, they'd be classified as a woman in society, correct?
If they are identifying inside of them as a woman, if they identify with women, yes. But
Okay,
there's
so
a
let me ask you a
difference
question
between
though. Let me just
identifying
ask you a
and
simple. Let me
saying
just
the
ask
sex.
you a. Let me ask you a simple question. So if I were to identify as a a tree outside, and I were to go outside and stand up like a tree, and I said I identify as a tree, and I sit there in dirt all day, would I be classified as a tree because I told everyone that I identify as a tree?
A tree would not be an identity construct, so no.
Yeah, but I'm asking you though, like if I were to identify as a tree, would I still be looked at as a tree?
No, because that's not an identity construct.
Okay,
But
so
what
what
I'm
would you
saying is
classify
the
that?
definition of woman is based in identity construct.
Well, yeah, you're
Whereas
basing
the
it. You're
definition of
basing
tree
the
would be
definition of
biological in
woman.
nature.
No. So the problem is you're basing the definition of the word woman and identity. So the woman is not an identity, right? We don't just go around and then see, okay, someone calls themselves a woman, then we just like, I guess we accept that in society because they identify themselves to be a woman. That's not how society. That's not how world works, right? That's not how we define things. That's not how we, use things in a logical standpoint, right? See, if we base things off identity, that means that anybody can identify as anything they want to identify as society, right? If I want to identify as a man, right? Or if I want to identify as a butts, I want to identify as a car, or if I want to identify as like a tree trunk, any type of form will be
I'm not sure
identified, but
that
we
you
don't base.
understood my point.
Bob, do you have difficulty categorizing things in society?
What are you talking about?
Well, you're using two different categories within psychological
Yeah, but
society.
we
You're
don't. But
using
that's what I'm saying.
taxonology,
No.
kingdom,
Hold on.
and
Hold on.
biological
Wait.
categories of human species.
No.
So do you have a difficulty in categorizing things in your mind?
No, I have no different categories in my mind. What are you talking about?
Well, you're saying trees and humans are basically the same. Do you have a problem with
Yeah, but if I say
categorizing?
no, this is
Do
what
you
you're not
have?
understanding.
Do
So
you
if I
have a
tell you that,
problem
wait, no,
categorizing
hold on.
things in
Let me
your
correct you
brain?
first. If I tell
No,
you I
there's no
identify,
correction. I heard what you said.
no,
Do
you're
you
not listening
have
to
a
what I'm saying.
difficulty
You've taken
in
my words out of
categorizing
context.
things in your mind?
No. I'm
Do
asking
you
you.
have a
No, answer my
problem?
question. Stop
Do
speed
you? No, you
running.
answer my
Stop
you
speed
answer my
running.
question
Stop speed
first.
running. No, stop speed running. Stop speed running. No. Like back to what I was saying. If you identify yourself as a woman, that doesn't make you a woman in society. That's not how society works. We don't just classify people just because they identify as a woman, right? Like if I were to tell you if I identify a tree, does that make me a tree? No, right? If I identify as a cop, right? Would that call me a
Do
cop? Would
you
I be able to
have a
arrest people because I
problem
identify as a
with
police officer? No.
categorizing things
That's
in
not
your
what we
mind?
No. That's not what we base our identities on, right? That's not how we
Do
work
you
society. That's not
have
how
a
we
problem categorizing things in
Oh
your
my
mind?
God, muting game.
So let's talk more about what is identity. How would you define identity, Bob?
How would you define it?
Okay. So I think that there are some really major categories of identity that we are looking at a lot, and I think that we can liken this to like a spiritual or religious identity as well, right? So like anybody can say that they are whatever religion, and we don't question that. Right? Like these are identity constructs in the same way that I was trying to explain that the word woman is a basis in identity, which is
No, it's not.
I am an expert in this.
Yeah, you're an expert, but you don't know what definitions are, right? That's not.
The whole point
You
of
saying
being
the
an
word
expert.
woman is based off identity. That's not accurate. That's not true. The
It
word
is-
woman
it
is
is
based
accurate.
off definition, and the only definition for woman is an adult human female.
You're wrong.
Well, I'm not wrong. That's
Oh,
shit.
you
You
are
are me.
wrong.
Pick
So-
up
I
a
can
biology
prove you're
book.
wrong.
You can
That
pick up
would-
a textbook. You know, it's in a biology book. We can. You can go to
Hey, Bob.
dictionaries or definitions. We can
Hold
do
on.
Would
research.
you like? Because I've got two
I
And
in
we
would
can
front of me
pick the
right
word
now.
up. You know,
I
we
would
can actually
encourage
go
that.
and pick up a book and actually read it together.
Hi.
Well, like
hi.
I'm reading two dictionaries right now.
Yeah, so Bob, this is just an appeal to appeal to definition fallacy. Your whole entire
That's
argument is contingent upon a strict, narrow definition of a word, and is not open to being more broader or more nuanced in any way.
no, it's not. That's false.
Yeah, so
No, you're
The
wrong.
word that's false because, like I said, there's no. See, that's the
Dude,
problem,
your whole
right?
existence is
There's
false.
no.
Stop.
There's no one or two definition. There's no multiple definition for the word woman. There's
Yes,
only one
there is. Go
definition.
and look up the
No,
Cambridge Dictionary. Go
we
and
don't
look up the
define that in
Merriam-Webster
society. Just
Dictionary.
because you
Both
feel like in
dictionaries
society
actually
that
include
you
transgender
define
women.
woman by multiple definitions, that doesn't make it a woman, right? We don't base definitions off the word. Like the definition of the word woman is adult human female. We don't just
You
base them off
just
identity.
used. You just said, let's look in the dictionary and look at the definition. Now you're saying, no, you can't
Yeah,
do
look
that.
in the dictionary. The dictionary
I am
pulled up.
looking at the dictionary, and in both the
Okay,
Cambridge
what
and the
dictionary are you
Merriam-Webster
reading
include
from?
transgender.
Yeah,
Cambridge
what
and
dictionary are
Let me
you
Merriam-Webster.
ask
reading
you
from?
this. Let me
Just
ask you
fucking
this.
No,
told
no,
Bob.
let me ask you a question. What
So
what
in the
dictionary are you reading
healthcare
from?
systems, in the healthcare systems,
Wait, no,
when
not
you
talk to me,
check
James.
in
What
and you're in
definition
an
you looking for,
intake
Kay?
in a healthcare system,
Why not? What
anywhere
dictionary are
that
you
you
looking for,
go
Kay?
in your face sheet in the healthcare system, when you're in the
Oh
hospital,
my
there's going to
God,
be a
change.
place that says sex blank, gender blank. And so the difference would be the difference between sex and gender. And if there was no difference between sex and gender, then I would ask, why does every healthcare institution in the United States have two different sections to write in the patient's sex and gender if that wasn't based in science?
He left. He ran.
He said he's
I
not
saw.
debating an echo.
Yeah,
chamber.
because like I was waiting to say to him, I've got the Cambridge Dictionary in front of me and the Merriam-Webster, and both of them include transgender women in definition of women. So the whole adult human female, which is the wrong way to actually say it anyway, it should be adult female human, is just stupid.
Yeah, but thing is, even then, the fact that he tried to steamroll me specifically based on the fact of he was asking for more nuance on something that was an adjective and a noun. It was a simplified definition. I couldn't simplify it any further than the adjective and noun that it was at. And yet he was asking me to ask how it's different, and it's like, you can't determine that if one is just a noun and one's an adjective and a noun. The adjective is what differentiates it.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure what the reason for, if female and woman were interchangeable, then why would we need two different words?
Yeah, like it's they're mostly interchangeable too. Like that's kind of the problem too, is that they've tended to be used interchangeably, but like they do have distinct meanings. Like they are different in some way. That's like saying that like I'm trying to think of two words.
I think that a good example is spiritual and religious. I think that that's something that comes up a lot in like trainings and trying to understand the difference between different things and how there's a precedence of how we handle things like spirituality and religion and things like healthcare institutions and schools. That's like think that there's a difference between spiritual and religious in the same way that there's a difference between female and woman.
Change, did you say that you were a licensed therapist, counselor, psychologist? I can't remember which one you used. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I have
Yes.
2 different licenses. And one's addictions therapy and one is in mental health therapy as well. And I train clinicians to provide gender affirming care and on how to refer to gender affirming medical care.
So I'm doing a certificate in higher psychology, which due through Open University, and I just got my textbooks, my fundamental textbooks, which are, if you would like to see, because obviously sharing resources and all that. Let me see. You see them? Oh, that's my hand.
Yeah. Is there a way to make you bigger? No. You're a little
Honey, I'm
tiny.
5'2". They've been trying to do that for years. It's never worked.
I got you. You're big screen, by the way. So.
Nah.
Okay, cool.
Hey.
So that's my
Kay,
first one.
If you're 5'2".
Yeah.
Is it a good one? Have you read it yet?
Sorry?
My microphone working now?
Yeah,
it is, Amy.
Hi.
Yes.
How long have you been speaking without us hearing you?
No, I heard you say something very muffled earlier. I'm guessing you asked if your mic was
Earlier.
working, but
But
it was very muffled earlier.
Oh, I see. Okay, so sex is distinct from gender. Yeah. And it's cultural expectations. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. There's a lot of ways that you can differentiate sex and gender, and there's they're kind of broad terms that we use these words a lot more broadly than I think we should sometimes, but we're just humans. We don't care about these things. We're gonna use this word for this now, and awful used to mean to inspire full of awe, and now it means horrible. How the fuck did this happen, people?
Yeah,
People,
all
this is-
words of all. Well, and that's literally human nature, right? And so I think that we can only get so far. I think that there's a benefit of defining words, otherwise they wouldn't be in our textbook. But in situations like this, there is a consensus on the definition of woman. But there's also, you can go to 10 different textbooks and all of them are going to be using a little bit different of a definition. A definition is not objective, even when it's a dictionary definition, because nothing in human language is technically objective. And I was trying to make that point earlier as well. The basis of science is that you cannot say absolutely anything as a fact. Gravity itself is a theory, right? So to claim that, oh no, I'm right and you're wrong about something as abstract and conceptual as identity and womanhood is just not, it is missing the complexities of the conversations that are happening in academic and in clinical spaces.
And I do believe that I've been in quite a few of these lives on TikTok regarding this, and every single one of these GC uses selective essentialism to try and narrate the rhetoric. It's absolutely disgusting. Absolutely disgusting.
It reminds me of when I was in my bachelor's, it was literally it wasn't a Psych 101 class. It was a research Psych 101 class. And our first assignment was he said, raise your hand if you believe that vaccines cause autism. And there were a few people who raised their hands. And then he said, okay, your first assignment is to write a paper with cite your sources that vaccines cause autism. And so we came back the next week and he said, okay, did everybody write their papers? And they were like, yeah. And he said, raise your hand if you believed before this assignment that vaccines cause autism. And the same people raised their hand. And then he said, okay, after writing the paper, raise your hand if you believe that vaccines cause autism. And 3 out of the maybe 6 people raised their hand again. And he said, okay, this assignment was actually not about vaccines or autism. It was about confirmation bias. And he said, there is no academic evidence to suggest that vaccines cause autism. And so this was actually my own conducted research to show you what confirmation bias is, that half of the people who believed that vaccines cause autism found evidence for it, even though it doesn't even exist, and turned it in for a paper.
Mad.
I am gonna probably end stream here in a few minutes because I gotta take care of Doggo. Doggo needs to go out. Doggo needs to be fed. Doggo needs to do something other than eat. But Doggo's cute. So
Okay, all I'm gonna say is that if you're 5'2", steal some of my height. I'm 6'5". I don't like being this tall.
I love being 5'2". I absolutely adore it. Honestly.
Damn.
How tall are you?
6'5".
Oh my god. Well, going by Bob's definition, you're a tree. Right?
Yeah, I'm a tree guy. I identify as a tree.
Oh my god.
One of the
I
things,
identify as a tree. That was a good callback.
one of the things that you can always clock them on too is that, like, you could say this isn't like expected within the natural variation of human identity that somebody identifies as a tree.
Yeah.
Like this is like way outside the realm of like what like we would expect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I said to him, do you have problems categorizing simple things in your brain? And he couldn't answer because he knew exactly, wait a minute, if I say no, then, well, you've got a problem. If I say yeah, well, I've got a problem too. Anyway, I'm going to shut up because there's somebody that's just, that's my bad. You can join. Yeah, they were left up. They're brought up, and then I clicked to accept them. But it's the disconnects on TikTok Live instead, and yeah.
Oh, can you guys hear me? I'm sorry.
Sorry, that was my bad.
Hey, Cirilla.
Hello.
Hi, can I get your age and pronouns, please? Oh, you're muted. I don't know if you're...
Can I speak in 10-ish minutes?
Yeah, we can... I'll let this go through, and then I'll end live, so...
Okay.
Were they saying to come back in 10 minutes? What was...
Yeah, I am kind of with my kids right now. Can I just get back?
Yeah, that's fine. We can, in the meantime... Oh, we can have...
Change, I sent you a request to
Boo, hi, sorry.
Hi, did you miss the craziness that happened earlier? Or are you still listening?
Most of it, yeah. I'll probably watch the playback at some point.
Yeah.
Did someone say, I heard change, I sent, but I didn't hear what else?
It was me. I sent you a request if that's okay.
A what?
I sent you a friend request if that's cool.
Oh, yeah. Oh my
That
gosh, of
camera-
course. Of course.
Here, I'll just flip it around and then...
Yeah, Change, I've never seen you up on panels, but from what I was able to hear today, you were pretty awesome.
Thanks. I've never been on this is my second time ever being on like anyone's TikTok live. It was just, it's Saturday and I had time today.
That's awesome. You're welcome up anytime, absolutely anytime.
Right now, so my friend bought me a game called Psychonauts for my birthday because I wanted to play it and I attempted to burn it on a DVD so I can play on my PS2, but something failed. So on my birthday, my friend bought it for me on Steam, but I because of the intracranial hypertension and just the symptoms getting worse, I couldn't play it. I couldn't see my computer. I couldn't use it. And that kind of bummed me out for a while, but now I can. So if I'm quiet for a long time, that's what I'm doing, is playing this game.
I think I am gonna go be a responsible adult and clean my house. But before I go, I'm gonna like try to follow people because I would love to see more of what it is that you guys are talking about.
Love that. I'll accept it when I'm off live.
What am I supposed to do? You.
Okay, I'm heading out. It was so good to meet you all. You guys have a great
It
night.
was nice to meet you too.
See ya.
Oh, I have to complete the obstacle course. I think we have opposition up right now, don't we?
I mean, if their PFP says anything, then yeah. I know they're taking care of kids right now, but you're not allowed, Stoat. Did you know that when you're hosting, you're not allowed to fill up your water?
Will I die if I fall? Okay.
Love that.
Will I die if I
also,
fall?
sorry, even with video games, we gotta keep it TikTok friendly. So unalive, but yeah,
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
it's okay. I would have done the same exact thing.
But I already like the mechanics of this game because it reminds me of Battle for Bikini Bottom. And that's like my second favorite game.
Okay, I'm back.
Hello.
The
Hello.
host will be back briefly. He's filling up his water.
Okay.
I am back. I might get attacked by Danny though. Hey, buddy. You want to say hi?
Okay. Other guest is back too. Can we get your age and pronouns, please?
Yeah, I'm 42 years old, and I am an adult human female, so I do she/her pronouns.
Hey, buddy.
All right. And then, what would it take for you to agree that we should support transgender people and gender affirming care?
Well, can I just respond to the prompt?
Yeah.
I just stated the prompt, so yes, go ahead.
It says I support transgender people and gender affirming care, and I do not really believe in transgenderism, and I do not believe gender affirming care is the answer in most cases.
Do you think that?
What would it take for me to agree? There would have to be actually scientific data that supports that, and there isn't.
There actually is, that it helps with outcomes greatly, and that there's a very extremely low regret rate and retransition rate, and a lot of people that detransition start their transition later on in life. As somebody who was here earlier was saying, we have to stop our transition sometimes because we don't have the social support that we need, because we don't have the financial support, or because of physical health reasons. And that will change later on in a lot of our lives. So there's actually really good rates of gender affirming care helping people live and be happy living. Stoke can give you like PMIDs or whatever if you have any more specific things, but yeah.
Yeah, it's like overwhelmingly the
Yeah,
case.
so Well, I actually looked at quite a lot of studies, but like the ones that show the best outcomes are like based on form of affirming care from like a long time ago, when there was way more gatekeeping than there is now.
Oh, we can't hear you if you're not on that. I assume that there's a color or something.
Yeah, and I'd wonder gatekeeping what and how, but anyways,
Yeah, but
continue.
back in the day, for example, there were 0 children being transitioned, and I'm talking like 20 plus years back, before the Dutch protocol was created. And also like the amount of people that were transitioned were pretty much mostly just men in their like late, like, you know, mid, like going through a midlife crisis or whatever, mostly like males, older males. It was almost 0 females. Like, there's so few women that actually went through that they were
Well,
statistically insignificant. So it was mostly men, married men with children.
that is not the
Also,
study. I don't want to hear any more about a study that you didn't even bring up, and it's not the studies we're referring to
no,
either. So why are
I'm
you?
talking generally about studies in general. Like, if
Well, we're not. We're
like
talking about
the
certain
latest
studies that are done
studies are
well,
very short term, and they look only like 2-3
not the
years,
ones
2-3
we're
years.
referencing.
What studies are you referencing then?
Yeah,
Stowe,
so
would you like to bring up some? Yeah, go for it.
so Cornell University published a paper on it's a systematic review of every single peer review published papers in English between 1991 and June of 2017. There were 55 studies
Yeah,
that
so
considered.
you're literally looking at the former way we used to treat this before the huge overhaul that has happened recently, and the ROGD kids that are now included in all the.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
ROGD is
real
just a
thing.
no, it's not. It's not accepted by
It
the
is. It's
APA
accepted
or
everywhere.
okay, so the APA does
Yeah,
not
but they
accept
are
ROGD.
they are being taken to court by Florida, and very soon you're gonna see their downfall.
So have you ever heard? Have you actually looked at Littman's papers that talk about ROGD?
But hold on a second. Let me look up that study that you said. You said Cornell University. Cornell
Yeah.
University. And like I said, it was like from the 90s. Yeah, exactly. We used to not
It goes
transition
all the
kids
way up
back
to
then.
2015. If you would have let the host finish
Yeah,
speaking.
I know.
It was published in
not
2018.
It was 2017, right?
Published in
Okay, so
2018.
Cornell, what is the name of it?
Yeah, what does the scholarly
Study
research
name.
say about the effect of gender transition on transgender well-being?
So what's the name of this study?
Yeah, that's the
He's
name.
telling you, and you aren't fucking listening. He can put it up on the screen if you need.
Can you calm down, sir? I'm talking to the host. Thank you. What was it?
Wait. I need to ask now. What sex and/or gender do you think that I am?
I don't care.
Okay, but
So
I'm sir.
can I
Got
ask
it.
the name? Can I ask the name of the study, please?
Yeah, it says, what does the scholarly research say about the effect of gender transition on transgender well-being?
What does a what? I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
What does the scholarly research say about the effects of gender?
What does a scholarly? Okay, scholarly. Okay,
Yeah.
Scholarly research say about what?
The effect of
Transition?
gender transition. You should be able to get it from that.
Effect of gender transition. Sorry, English is my second language. Okay, so let's look at this. Transition, and you said Cornell.
Yep. Here's from
University. And this sucks. Here about the effects, transmatters.org. Interesting. 1st January 2018. Okay. This is not the whole thing. Okay, maybe this link is gonna actually lead to the whole thing. Oh yeah, I've seen this one before. We conducted a systematic literature review of all peer-reviewed articles published in English between 1991 and 2017, and assessed the effect of gender transition on transgender well-being. We identified 55 studies that consist of primary research on this topic, of which 51, 93%, found that gender transition improves the overall well-being of transgender people, while 7%, report mixed or null findings. We found no studies concluding that the blah, 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 okay? Bottom line.
Wait, what was that last part? We found no studies concluding that gender transition causes overall harm?
Oral harm. Below
That's
are
not
51
good.
studies that found that gender transition improves the well-being of transgender people. Okay, this is from an actual. Okay, let's see.
Yeah, I could also bring walk through the Lisa Littman reviews or paper regarding ROGD and tell you how it's like absolutely crazy that you'd even conclude that ROGD is even reasonably backed by evidence.
Yeah, but it's like it is though.
Yeah,
like
so
it literally, like you literally. But can I just say something? Do you know that the new trend that's going on TikTok, where this,
Nothing is new.
where this? Okay, I'm not talking to you.
I don't
you know
care.
that
I'm a mod on this
you know
panel, and I will
you know
speak when I feel like
you know
it.
the new. Okay, sure. You know that new trend that's going on around TikTok, where everybody's like, "Oh, where are all my transitioned friends from 2020? Everybody has detransitioned by 2025." This is ROGD.
This is not.
This is
a
ROGD.
thing.
Yes, it's a
You'd
trend.
have to
It's
prove
a
it.
social. It's a social contagion, and it
Prove
has
it.
absolutely been proven. There's books written on the topic.
Well, why don't you give us one of them? Give us a
Okay.
source.
Yeah, so the
There's-
We've
reason
been
the
talking
primary
about so many sources,
Hold on, let
but
me
you
get
haven't
this.
given us a single one.
Yeah, so the problem about ROGD is that none of the primary literature talking about ROGD ever asks the children about anything. They're never diagnosed with anything. These children are not diagnosed.
What do you mean?
Yeah, so
What are they? What do you mean they're not diagnosed with what?
Yeah, so none of these ROGD is never diagnosed onto these kids. All the studies ask the parents questions. None of them actually talked about the actual they don't actually ask the kids questions. They are also
National
recruiting
Institute
from
of Health, Gender Dysphoria in Adolescents, examining the rapid onset hypothesis. A sharp rise in the numbers of predominantly natal female adolescents experiencing gender dysphoria
Let me
and
guess
seeking treatment in specialized clinics has sparked a contentious and polarized debate among both the scientific community and the public sphere. Few explanations have been offered for these recent developments. So this is just a fact, it has happened. One proposal is that the generated considerable attention is the notion of rapid onset gender dysphoria, which is assumed to apply to a subset of adolescents and young adults. First introduced by Lisa Littman in a 2018 study of parental reports, it describes a subset of youth, primarily natal females, with no childhood indicators of gender dysphoria, but with a sudden emergence of gender dysphoria symptoms during puberty or after its completion. For them, identifying as transgender is assumed to serve as a maladaptive coping mechanism for underlying mental health issues and is linked to social influences from peer groups and through social media. The purpose of this article is to analyze this theory and its associated hypotheses against the existing evidence base and discuss the potential implications for future research. Okay, let's see. Okay.
Yeah, so
I mean, it's fact that
only
that the number of females of that certain age group has gone up about 5,000%. That's
Yeah.
literally a fact. That has
Yeah,
nothing to do with
I
anything
don't
that parents could have said on the topic.
I'm not arguing against the fact that there isn't a giant jump in people that are transgender. That's not the point.
And
of
most of
contention.
whom have by now detransitioned. Yeah. Okay.
No, I would argue
Um,
that's not based in any sort of science.
Okay, yeah. Well, that's interesting because, like that, I would say that it is true. Majority of them have the transition.
Yeah. Did you
Did you
recall
know that
the-
most detransitioners? Did you know that most detransitioners don't go back to the clinics and report a detransition? They literally just stop, and they
Yeah,
don't tell
that doesn't
anybody except like they're.
surprise me, but
So
like
the numbers, like it's like 1% is total lie, like it's an extreme underreporting. And even WPATH themselves, like I know this one freak, he's
So
a trans
that-
identified woman. He says that retransitioner numbers are about 30% at this point. Let's see.
No.
Let's see.
Okay, so we can talk about
Here,
this Lisa Littman.
63.5% of adolescents were reported by their parents to have significantly increased their social media and internet use, where they were allegedly exposed to affirmative and persuasive narratives surrounding transgenderism. I mean, you can just see that on TikTok. You can literally see that yourself.
Yeah, I'm not contending with that. I'm saying that the fucking study is. So we're talking about. So why don't you actually go to the actual study that they're talking about here and look at it and read it and see that there's issues with proxy priming. Let's see, what else is there? There's issues with proxy priming, bias, and pathology. In terms of proxy, Littman never asked the children, but rather the parents. She further relies on the parents to diagnose their kids with RGD. And when this manifests in their child, the things that Littman is only looking at when somebody decides to express IDs rather than the individual for long. Yeah, so they're not actually asking when
the parents are the ones that are responsible for their kids' well-being.
Yeah,
so of course they're going to go to the parents, not the kid that doesn't feel well.
Okay, well that's just presupposing.
Despite the limitations and speculative nature of Littman's findings, her theory of ROGD gained significant traction and sparked discussions that at times overlooked the scant evidence supporting it. Even before the publication of Littman's article and thus before the results of the study were available, the phenomenon was discussed, blah, 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 and treated as established knowledge by prominent figures in the field such as Ray Blanchard and J. Michael Bailey. This discrepancy between the significance of empirical findings from a single study and the far-reaching conclusions drawn from them is a valid point of criticism.
Single study that hasn't ever been replicated.
I am sorry, sweetheart. Every single study that concerns transgenderism is either extremely low quality or no quality study. Like every single one of those studies has problems. That's just the reality of it. Have you read the CAS review?
Yeah, I've read parts of it. I haven't read the whole CAS review, but the CAS review even mentions sources such as that regret rates are as low as like 0.6%.
Yeah, and shows that the majority of these studies are extremely low quality, and a lot of these studies are actually based on surveys. That is the lowest level, the lowest quality of a study is something based on a survey.
Yeah, so that's exactly what RGD is based off of, and not even surveying the correct people, but their fucking parents. You would understand this if you had been listening. But
when you have a brainwashed child by a social contagion, it's really hard to take seriously what the child says.
So do you understand that Littman's actually like primes they not only prime the parents to thinking that RGD is a recognized diagnosis, and they also recruited from 3 websites and a private Facebook group. The first one would be Fourth Wave Now.
Indicates
Have you ever heard of Fourth Wave Now, Transgender Trend, and Youth Trans Critical Professionals? Because they're all anti-trans networks that all work against transgender individuals.
What do you think about GenSpect?
Yeah, they're also anti-trans, but they
what
were
about
not.
SEGM?
Center for Evidence-Based Gender Medicine. Yeah, they're also anti-trans.
They're all professionals. Yeah, but they're all professionals. Yeah, they're anti-trans because they disagree with your point. They go against what you're saying. That's the only
because they
reason
go
why.
against the science.
Yeah, but nobody is trans, honey. Like it doesn't exist.
Yeah, that's
the
a
thing does not
presupposition.
exist.
Prove
It's a
it.
symptom.
Prove it.
It's a symptom of mental health issues. Okay, here evidence indicates a convergence of psychiatric disorders and gender dysphoria among some adolescents seeking treatment. The existing body of literature points to the significant prevalence of affective disorders, depression, anxiety, as well as self-harm and eating disorders. This confluence of conditions raises a critical question, not only regarding the debate on ROGD, but also the broader context of treating youth with gender dysphoria. Do pre-existing psychiatric conditions act as a catalyst for gender dysphoria, or are they rather the consequence of a pre-existing yet unidentified gender dysphoria? On one side of the debate, the minority stress theory posits that the stigmatized social status faced by blah, 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 in comparison with their heterosexual counterparts, culminates in heightened psychological distress. Yeah, it may actually be internalized homophobia, Lahur. Sorry, I'm speaking Swedish here for a second. On one side of the debate, blah, 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 yeah, in comparison with their heterosexual community. Research suggests that co-occurring psychiatric disorders in youth with gender dysphoria may often be a consequence of minority stressors, such as discrimination, harassment, lack of social support. Conversely, Littman's research highlights parental reports suggesting that psychiatric issues in their children often predate the recognition of transgender identity, with 62.5% of parents noting that their child has been diagnosed with at least one psychiatric condition before experiencing gender dysphoria. Do you honestly think that these parents would be lying about this thing? Do you think that's an unreliable report? This can be actually proven. You can literally look into the journals, medical journals of the child, to see if the parent is lying or not. However, the reliability of parental perceptions in reporting an initial emergence gender dysphoria remains contentious. Okay.
Do you know that the most recent and largest study regarding ROGD was retracted because it was so shitty?
Which one was it?
Yeah, so it's
really was it? Who was it? Who was it by?
Bailey. Diaz Bailey. Yeah, it was retracted.
Are you talking about J. Michael Bailey, who was like literally cancelled and forced out of his job, and now he's been paid actually money back because of how horribly he's been treated?
I'm not sure if that's the same. Yeah, so Bailey is transphobic. I do know this. He's written some pretty. I've read some.
Anybody with half a brain is transphobic because transgenderism doesn't exist.
Yeah, have you read any of his books? Because some of his books read like bad smut.
NU Professor Michael Bailey faces backlash over retracted retracted gender dysphoria study. Okay, this is from when?
June
2025, March. Okay, let's look at this. Yeah, I mean, lots of trans rights activists, they're so powerful and they have so much money behind them that they can cancel literally anybody.
Do you know where they got their?
There's the same thing has happened with a Swedish study. Where are you getting the money from? Like GLAAD? Like from Little American Aid? Like, come on, like y'all have been spreading this shit all over the world with your American bullshit. Y'all have been spreading this shit in freaking Thailand and stuff. Like, come on, this is part of your American culture. Trying to literally like sterilize homosexuals. Like this is the real conversion therapy. Transgenderism is the actual conversion therapy.
Thurla, time out.
Okay.
Because you've used words like transgenderism or referencing ROGD, even though those studies have been retracted. Like, and every time we've been like, prove what you're saying, you just keep like talking about studies that you aren't bringing up and such. So I need you to actually know that something is scientific. Let me finish. Thank you. So if you're going to claim, if you're going to claim something, then you need to be able to back it up, or don't say it because it's misinformation and it's against TOS. I've heard way too much misinfo come out of your mouth.
What you gonna do about it? Are you gonna like report me or something?
I mean, if you don't
cancel me and dox me,
I can do this.
Like,
thanks. Honestly, I was on my errand.
Have fun.
I'm sorry, Kay.
I nearly cried because I asked a question. I was like, "What do you mean?" Transgender people have a lot of money. Like the majority of trans people I know are like poor.
Gorilla, you won nothing.
Like, we don't have anything. What are we doing?
Yeah,
exactly.
The money we're canceling.
What bothered me the most is like I was listening while I was on my errand
and she like
up. Yeah, she literally just kept saying, like, she was talking about ROGD, she was talking about transgenderism, she's talking about anyone with 2 brain cells would be transphobic. Like, this is all misinformation if she doesn't have any scientific evidence to back it. So if she had the scientific evidence, we'd be listening. But she didn't bring up any evidence that actually helped her case at all the entire time. And the biggest point she was making did not have any evidence. She was just saying, this is how I feel, this is what I think, this is what I see. Which isn't science.
And I'm pretty sure we provided, well, not we, because I've been barely speaking. I've been engrossed in the game I'm playing. But, like, I'm pretty sure we've given, like, lots of sources and resources to learn.
Stowe is always the one, especially since I'm not usually by a computer. I'll just be like, I know this thing because I've looked at the notes, and so I know this is true, so I'm going to say it. But when they're like, what's the source? I'm like, Stowe, you know what I'm talking about. You bring it up. So, yeah.
See that ROGD that she was going on about? Was that not like redacted because it was because of issues with informed consent and methodology?
It was.
Yeah. Do you know where they got their? You know where they got their sample from?
Was that from the
parents of ROGD.com?
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Yeah.
There's no way this could be biased. No way.
I'm gonna
And was
answer
that
this.
not,
Sorry,
that
real
not
quick, just for people to be able to follow. ROGD, since Palm asked it, and other people might not know what we're referring to. We're talking about rapid onset gender dysphoria, which isn't actually a thing. So.
Yeah, I
Shirley,
would.
you didn't wait me. You freaked out.
I would encourage you to Google just maybe think that AI might have it is capable of thinking better than you, which is just do a cursory Google search of is ROGD recognized medical
That's like saying that
disorder.
the 1980s was it Blanchard? His claims are actually still valid today. No, they're not. Go and use Slip and go and look up proper stuff.
Blanchard's awful.
And by the way, Cirilla, you're using the wrong definition in your bio, honey.
I would not put that past her one bit.
Yeah, she's using the way that she's done it is absolutely duh.
Yeah, you wouldn't see it in actual public or actually medical textbooks or anything like that because it's not a thing.
Yeah, exactly. No, DSM, ICD-11, that kind of thing. They don't ever have ROGD in there. Also, the person who just dropped, I was about to introduce you. If you want to come back,
well,
you
I
can.
wasn't going to because I'm in extreme.
Oh, that's fair.
I
Because
have
you
to take
did
care
want
of
to
the
end after
doggy.
Cirilla.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I've been on for 3 hours and 24 minutes, so doggy got to do stuff. So.
Okay. Well, thanks for having us.
Yeah, that was fun. That was a wild stream.
It was crazy from even just what I was here for.
No way. But thanks for coming, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye, friends.